Hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm here, and it's Memorial Day weekend, and I hope you guys have some kind of fun planned because the plague's off. It's over. Don't you know? We're off and running. I I just want to point out a bunch of the clips tonight are going to be like, oh, and this beach is opening and that beach is opening, and the reason that they're opening is not because something changed from last week, except for the fact that the people are going to go to the motherfucking beach. Okay? And if you try and stop them from going to the beach, it's probably going to be a problem. So just get out of the way and let them go to the motherfucking beach. And that's why all the beaches are now reopening. In case you're wondering, it's not because out of the great generosity of their hearts, of their bleeding hearts, they thought, oh, the people, the working class, they deserve a little more freedom. That's not why they're doing it. They know that they don't have a choice. You guys are going out, and if they don't get the fuck out of the way, probably some people are going to get hurt. So they better get the fuck out of the way. Which I love. Good work, everyone. Thank you so much. I am so proud of you right now. Um, so again, I hope that you have plans for the weekend, something that you will enjoy. It's raining here. It might rain all weekend long, which is funny because it's been really nice forever, and now it's just raining. But it's cool. Um, let's see. I have so many videos. Look at all these videos, including Israel is a tumor that needs to be removed. That is from the Ayatollah today, apparently, of Iran, Iranian Ayatollah. Uh, and Memorial Day, Memorial Day, Memorial Day. Oh, did you know that your barbecue can kill you? Huh? It's coming for you. Your barbecue's coming for you, baby. First it was what? First it was the terrorist, right? And then it was the shooters, but the shooters are like terrorists. Um, and then it's what is it now? It's the COVID-19. Wait, no, no, no. It's not the COVID-19. It's the murder hornets. No, wait, it's not the murder hornets. It's your barbecue. It's gonna get you. It's gonna get you. Especially on a weekend like this. Your barbecue has been waiting for a weekend like this for a long time. It's been sitting there just plotting and plotting. And now, oh, now its time has come. You all are in so much trouble. Don't you know? So anyways, that's what I have going on. I have a fuck ton of videos. Should I play the barbecue video now? Is that what you want to see? Oh, and then there's the pandemic gun violence because, we can't forget about the gun violence, right? The gun violence is everywhere. It's taking everyone's life. The gun violence. You guys are just really like in summer mode, right? You just think you're just going to go off and play this weekend and there's not going to be gun violence and nobody's barbecue has been plotting to get them all winter long. You guys are just out of it, aren't you? Probably not even going to wear masks. I'm just saying. You do what you gotta do. Okay? I'm good with that. You do whatever you gotta do. That's what you need to do, you do it. let's see. Makes you afraid. Yes, it does. Wait, what? Oh, right. Okay, I didn't get to check clip 16, son of a bitch. But I believe we have clip 14. Remember, whatever makes you afraid. This one starting out. That one didn't start at the beginning. That one needs to start at the beginning. Let's see. This
Every
one.
player, unless they're from the same household, has to bring their own tennis balls so that you don't touch other people's tennis balls with your hands. You can kick their balls, but you can't touch them. I'm gonna blush. Sorry. Of course, if you're playing with someone in your household, you can touch those tennis balls. To avoid confusion between whose balls are whose, you can use a marker, like a Sharpie, to mark out, to put an X or put someone's initials on them. I would just say,
if it makes you angry, if it makes you scared, if it makes you smug, if it makes you want to go out and buy something immediately, that emotional impulse means there's probably something about that information that makes it very difficult for you to be critical.
Never forget, if it makes you afraid, if it makes you angry, if it makes you want to buy stuff, that's how you know is conspiracy theory shit. That's what she was saying. That's how you know. That's how you can tell. If it makes you angry, makes you afraid. Like that's not what the news strives to do on a daily basis. But we can't forget these things. These things are very important. And you must know whose balls you can touch and whose balls you can't touch. Of course, this is one of the big rules going forward in the new reality. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. And welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. So, here we are, day 62 of live quarantining. Are you guys staying in for the weekend? I bet you Drunk Pete is not staying in for the weekend. I bet you it's going to be a really nice weekend in Rhode Island, and he's going to be skating all over the place. Handing out gummies. Like, hey, you want a gummy? That's what I would be doing. That's why I love the Hemp Fest, because I can walk around and I can go, hey, do you want a cookie? Yeah. And I just do it to like people that are working, like if they're selling glass or whatever. It's like, hey, you want a cookie? And I'm like, yeah, because you can tell sometimes, man, that guy really needs a cookie. So it's like, hey, you want a cookie? Yeah. Oh, here you go. You want two? I would only eat one for right now. I don't know. I guess Hemp Fest is off. Everything's off. Summer fun is canceled. Summer fun canceled today. Summer fun just went away. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play a video. Number is 805-669-6397. Okay? And as I'm saying, the reason that they are opening up the beaches, you're saying, they're seeing them, oh, look, they're opening up this beach and they're opening up that park and blah, 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 is because if they didn't, the people would fucking open them up themselves. So, you guys know the truth. Don't buy into the fear. Oh, and don't forget your barbecue is going to get you. I'll play that one in a minute. I'll play it when I'm ready. I want to play Memorial Day at the beach. Because we love Memorial Day at the beach. That's the place to be.
Moving on here, states moving to relax restrictions. Many Americans will head to the water for the unofficial start of summer this weekend, and beaches all around the country will be open for business. That is despite the dangers from the coronavirus. Rules vary very widely state to state, and Don Daler is going to show us some of the safety measures being implemented ahead of the Memorial Day weekend. He's in Asbury Park along the Jersey Shore. And Don, my little Teddy was wearing a Stone Pony t-shirt just yesterday, getting it dirty at the counter with dinner. It's a great rock venue there. We were there last Memorial Day weekend. It's a wonderful place. What do you got there? How are they keeping people safe?
It is so wonderful, and the Stone Pony is just that way, by the way. I drove by it coming in. Great place, great beach, and beaches like this one all up and down the Jersey coast are getting ready to open up for the long Memorial Day weekend. But with the rise of coronavirus cases, there are some who are still very worried that this is all happening too fast and too soon.
Many beachfronts across the country will be open for leisure as restless Americans emerge from their quarantine.
The boardwalk's been very crowded, it seemed. The beach, you can spread out a little more. After like 60-something days indoors, it's nice to soak up the sun back on the beach.
In California, many beaches have already reopened, and pictures like these appear to show some beachgoers bending social distancing guidelines. New York will cap beach capacity at 50%, and local governments will require and enforce mask use when social distancing is not possible. Every coastal state, aside from Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire, will have at least some of their shores open to residents by today.
Kelly.
New Jersey schoolteacher Kelly McAvoy is picking up her summer beach tags, but remains skeptical on how social distancing will work.
It's been really crowded and a lot of people without masks, so it does make me a little nervous.
In one southern New Jersey county, volunteers called social distance ambassadors will patrol high-traffic areas to remind people to stay 6 feet apart.
It's becoming safer for us to dip our toes back into the water, in this case, literally.
New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy says encouraging COVID numbers are driving his decision to reopen. But the economic numbers are anything but. One report says the state's shore tourism generated more than $7 billion in 2018, but more than 1 million people in New Jersey have filed for unemployment since the pandemic began. And in April, the state saw a loss of more than 236,000 jobs in the leisure and hospitality sector.
We really don't know what to expect right now.
Asbury Park Beach Safety Supervisor Joe Bongiovanni has been working this coast for 50 years.
Most of the beaches are limiting their capacities. You know, we're in the same boat, so we can follow our social distancing rules, and we'll just have to play it by ear.
We've seen images from other states of these crowds at beaches. That must be a nightmare scenario for you.
Well, right. Well, I mean, that's why we're going to try to limit things. So, you know, we're not going to allow that to happen here.
But when you say limit, what does that mean? The police will get involved and break up crowds?
No, we're going to have what we call social monitoring, people walking around to remind people that they should be separated. We're not going to kick them off the beach or have them arrested or anything like that. We just strongly advise them against it.
Ironically, some of the people most at risk might be the ones who sit in these lifeguard chairs. You can see they're in the process of switching the double chair to the single chair because some of the protocols to protect these lifeguards are only one lifeguard in a chair at a time, must wear a mask, and in the event of a rescue, they're allowed to do the chest compressions, but they can't do the mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. We're told that there are EMT crews nearby who could respond quickly in the event of that need. Gail.
All right, whatever it takes to stay safe. Thank you very much, John.
So you see those guys, and they're standing there, and they're having their little interview, and they're talking back and forth, and they're wearing their mask, and there's like a 25, 30 mile an hour wind blowing. You can see the flag behind the guy just like flapping away. You know, it's just not gonna. It's not doing them any good, unless they're like spitting on each other or something. Unless, of course, you're trying to spread the fear, unless, of course, you're trying to say this is how you people have to behave now, and, you know, submit, do what you're supposed to do. So the mask is kind of a ritual. People love their rituals. There's no doubt about that. So, I'm going to go ahead. Look, I'm very upset about Woolco not being here. Okay? Woolco has been here forever. Okay? And I talked to Woolco a lot. Not about anything to do with the show. Or any videos or anything other than what's going on, man. Or, hey, can you help me? Can you tell me can you give me a clue on gardening? Because he's a master gardener. Among other things that he does very masterfully. And I'm very upset that Woolco is gone. You have no idea. So, but I'm not going to dwell on it at this moment. It's just, it's a sad thing. But we should focus on your fact that your barbecue is going to kill you. Because that's what's really important on this weekend, Memorial Day, you know, when barbecues across the country have been waiting for just this moment. And now's their chance. Oh, and it's not the barbecues alone that are conspiring against you. The burgers are working with them. So, you know. And the murder hornets, too.
Right now, millions of babies around the world are missing out on vaccinations due to the coronavirus pandemic. That's according to the World Health Organization. They say at least 80 million babies are not being vaccinated. WHO says the pandemic threatens to unwind decades of progress against vaccine-preventable diseases like measles. Well, many of us will fire up the grill this holiday weekend, but a word of caution today when it comes to what you choose to grill. Medical reporter Liz Bonas shares yet another reason to throw a veggie burger on the grill.
So if you have burgers on the menu for your grill for Memorial Day weekend, or you're like ordering cheeseburgers and fries in these troubled times, it's not perhaps a smart option. Even if you like comfort food, new research suggests it might be anything but smart. A small study from Ohio State University says that when we eat one single meal high in saturated fat, it can hamper our ability to concentrate. Saturated fats are found in things such as burgers and fried foods. A study compared how 51 women performed on a test of their attention after they ate either a meal high in saturated fat or the same meal made with oil, something like sunflower or olive oil. Those are fats that are not saturated. Researchers say the women's performance on the test was worse after eating the high saturated fat meal than after they ate the meal made from oil. Those saturated fats are found in red meat, dairy, fats from solid foods at room temperature, something like butter or tropical oils. The American Heart Association says they can raise cholesterol risk and clog arteries. The brain, of course, needs those arteries open to function properly. So better options include fruits and vegetables, especially dark and colorful ones. And the best brain diet overall is higher in dark leafy greens and whole grains, and lower in red meat or other foods high in saturated fat. Good idea right now if you're thinking about the grill to maybe try some veggie burgers. I'm medical reporter Liz Bonas. We'll throw it back to you. We hope you enjoy your weekend.
Life is gonna get you. It's gonna get you. Life, you're soaking in it right now. You are. It's gonna get you. Because everything is gonna get you. Your murder hornets are gonna get you. Your dog is gonna get you. Your friends. Can't you see them wearing the mask? Your friends, can't you see them? Don't you know that means that they're a threat to you? The coronavirus zombies are real, and they're coming for you. Oh man, I have another story. I have another video where they're talking about and this is the programming, man. They're talking about how the vaccine, or no, not the vaccine. They're talking about getting a test, knowing that you don't have the coronavirus. If you just get tested, then you'll know you don't have it, and that will give you peace of mind to know that you don't have it, right? So, you do what you got to do, but there's obviously some massive programming going on here with the news media, and this is how you do it, so that so that you're a good citizen. All good citizens are getting tested. Don't you want to be a good citizen? Citizen? Huh? Either you're with us or you're with the COVID-19, and that's the problem. Is they can't wait to label you with the COVID-19. So if you need peace of mind and you think somehow that being tested is going to give you peace of mind, you do what you need to do. Okay? I suppose that means when the vaccine comes out that, even though you've tested negative multiple times, now you can get the vaccine and you never have to be tested again, right? Just one little injection. Oh, wait, it's 2 injections. Just 2 little injections. It's no big deal. You'll feel so much better. You'll have peace of mind. This little injection will give you peace of mind. Don't you want to have peace of mind? Where's that at? Motherfucker. Testing brings peace. There we go.
The CDC says it's open to using those antibody tests to get Americans back to work if the results can prove that employees are immune to the coronavirus. Right now, antibody tests only determine if you've had the virus, but in a time when so much is unknown, the tests have given closure to some who were previously sick, who didn't have answers. And that includes our own Jericka Duncan and Michelle Miller.
I knew I wasn't feeling like myself. So with everything that was going on, I thought this probably is a good time. I'm early enough in this pandemic to possibly get a test. The emergency room staff there told me that they had a short supply, and that was after waiting for almost 4 hours for them to tell me to go home and act as though I had coronavirus.
I woke up with a splitting headache, a backache, and just this incredible fatigue. And it took 3 days for me to try to get a test. I couldn't get one either.
Like many Americans, neither myself nor Michelle could get tested for COVID-19 back in March. We were told we didn't meet the CDC guidelines, or there were simply not enough tests to go around. To date, roughly 12.5 million coronavirus tests have been performed in the U.S., according to the COVID Tracking Project. At most, that's enough for about 4% of the population.
You tested positive.
Weeks after falling ill, both Michelle and I turned to a telehealth company to help us get antibody tests.
Your body produced antibodies to fight the virus off.
Because at the time, in April, those tests were hard for us to find.
I called 5 of my doctors. None of them had the test. I went to 3 places that did have the test. I could not get the test from them. But to be quite frank, we were able to get a test because, we
were advocates for our own health.
This week, the CDC addressed antibody testing in the president's plan to reopen America. It says those tests may play a role in a back-to-work strategy if they can be reliably linked to immunity. But it also emphasizes there are many unknowns about the testing. Those unknowns have researchers at the University of Minnesota recommending against using antibody tests in a workforce setting for now. Authors of the report out Wednesday expressed concern about accuracy and if a positive test actually means you're immune from the virus. While it's unclear if antibodies confer immunity and if they do, how long it could last, Experts say the results can bring peace of mind.
Please do draw some reassurance, reduce anxiety, gain knowledge and understanding from these test results, but don't trust them 100% to suggest that you're off the hook in terms of protecting yourself or protecting others.
All bandaged up. Took less than 2 minutes.
I just wanted an answer, and I do have to say, I do feel better knowing that I have tested positive for the antibodies.
Having it and surviving it, I just feel somewhat empowered, although I still social distance and I still wear masks and I still wear gloves when I go outside. I feel better knowing I had it.
Private labs like Quest and LabCorp have been pushing to get more of those antibody testing out there. Those two labs combined have done more than 1.5 million tests, antibody tests. And really, Gail, this is about connecting too with the very people that we are talking about, talking to. There has been no other time that I've ever felt so connected when we say that we are all in this together.
It's so true, Jarek. And I have to say, I envy you and Michelle. I took the antibody test. I was negative, which means I've had no exposure and haven't had it. And I was so disappointed because I, too, was feeling something. And I thought, maybe I've already had it and survived it. So I'm really happy that you guys got the results that you wanted. I'm a little jealous, too, but glad you all are okay.
Peace. Peace. Poppies will give you peace. You know what? Again, if you need to take a test, then you need to take a test. But my big thing is, if you're sick, then if you need to go to the doctor, okay? If you need to go to the doctor, go to the doctor. If you don't need to go to the doctor, my best advice is do not go to the doctor for pretty much everything. But, if you got a broken leg, you got to go to the doctor. Right, boo? If you got, there's a whole bunch of things where you need to go to the doctor, Lots of times you have to go to the doctor, like if you fall off your bicycle and you get road rash on your fucking leg or whatever. But, shit happens. But if you don't need to go to the doctor, my advice is don't go to the fucking doctor. I want all the prostitutes to go to prison, Swampy. Whatever you think. I love them all. Oh my God, I want them so bad. I want to be just like them with their little Clark Kent fake journalist glasses that I can rip off and be Superman. Yeah, I want to be just like those people, dude. I love them. They're so my heroes. You have no idea. Really? Okay, but I have many, many clips from many, many different sources, including Israel is a tumor that should be removed, that must be removed. Do you guys hear that one today?
Iran's supreme leader says Israel is a tumor to be removed and is hailing Tehran's supply of arms to Palestinians. The comments by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei drew swift condemnation from the U.S., the European Union, and Israel. Just some of the other stories.
That's how they try and portray concentrated marijuana, you know. This is flour pressed inside a piece of parchment paper at 200 degrees at 2,000 pounds of pressure, and they come out looking like this. And then I scrape the little golden ooze off of there, and that's what I smoke. So, I don't know. I don't know if crack goes on flowers, but if you ask the cops, that's the new crack right there. It's gonna get you. It's gonna get... Why won't anyone think of the children? And I smoke that because it's so yummy. Fresh squeezed dabs? Are you kidding me? So many more videos. How about one about a drone that takes your temperature from flight, right? Do you know that's coming? There's going to be drones with the thermal sensors on them, so they can tell who has a temperature. Did you know that? I don't know. Did you guys see that video today already? I mean, I don't mean to keep playing these things you guys have seen over and over again.
The crew of a Washington-based Coast Guard cutter is now quarantined after seizing more than 2,000 pounds of cocaine. The cutter Active, based out of Port Angeles, busted 3 smugglers off the coast of El Salvador last week. All 3 smugglers tested positive for COVID-19. 70 Coast Guard members on board are being tested. Public health and safety groups are using drones to slow the spread of the virus, and the drones could be coming to our area, but that's leaving some people feeling a bit uneasy. Canadian company Dragonfly told KIRO 7 it's talking with companies in the Seattle area about its pandemic drones. They use infrared sensors to scan body temp, heart rates, and how far apart people are.
We're going to see this deployed on scale across the United States in the coming months. I mean, we need solutions.
I wouldn't be a fan of it because, to me, I think it's a form of invading privacy.
People we talked with in Seattle had mixed opinions about it. The company told us there's no facial recognition in this technology, and the information is not tied to any one person. King County Public Health told us it has no plans to use drones in its COVID response. The team at the DOT that helps you when you run into trouble on the road is making some changes. Aside from protective gear, as you see there, its incident response team has started using these special flashcards. It allows drivers to stay in their vehicle and still communicate with DOT. They're also using bullhorns to communicate. This is all to keep social distancing in mind, but allows those flat tires to get fixed or a little gas in your gas tank to get you moving along.
So this thermal imaging, taking your temperature, is going to become a very regular thing. They're going to do it at the airport. Craig says they're doing it at the casinos now. So they're just gonna fly. It's like, you know, from They Live. They're just gonna fly these drones around and go, oh, that one over there, oh, that one over there, and they're just gonna and the guys in white are gonna fucking pull up and they're gonna throw you in the back of the van, and they're gonna lock the back of the van. You guys saw that shit in China, right? Where they're pulling them out of the apartments and just throwing them in the van and locking the van and taking them off to who knows where. Fuck you and your fucking drones. I've had enough of this police state. I've had enough of your fucking rules. Okay? You guys can make up your own minds. This is what I keep saying. If you need to go to the doctor, you know that you need to go to the doctor, and you should if you need to go to the doctor. Okay? Me, I'm not going to the doctor unless someone makes me. Because I hate the doctor. The doctor has alternative motives. The for-profit medical industrial complex. I do not trust them. They have alternative motives, as in for-profit. You know, they're not, don't think their number one goal is to make you well. And it's really sad. So, and I've said that long before the COVID-19 hit, because I've had, of my own personal experiences and just watching them, and I mean, it's not that they don't care, it's that the priority isn't just to heal, which is so sad. I hate that. It's disgusting. It's not sad, it's disgusting. Which is why cannabis has been kept from people for generations, when it could have been this thing that could have helped so many people. For so many people, for so many different things. Even now, it could help so many people, and it's being kept from them. And still, the medical association still will say, "Oh, well, cannabis is not medicine," over and over and over again, and it's just not true. So, and people take all these different supplements. The cannabis is probably the single most important supplement to have in your life. And I've shown you guys these studies on this, the cannabis can be preventing the COVID. There's that, and there's all kinds of these. There's all kinds of studies going on about this. So I highly recommend, like I said again and again, I don't think you're eating enough marijuana. I don't know how else to put it any more clearly than that. And with good reason, right? So, and I'm just trying to give you the best advice I know how. That's all there is to it. So, that being said, did you know that even though there's a pandemic going on, that the gun violence is still out there? The gun violence is going to get us all. We have to do something about these guns. The guns have gone crazy. They're going to get us. If we don't get the guns are going to get us. Right?
The coronavirus pandemic has impacted every facet of life in America, and that includes gun violence and mass shootings. There is no single definition of a mass shooting. The Gun Violence Archive, a reputable source of statistics, defines it as an incident with 4 or more people killed or injured, excluding the shooter. Their data shows the number of mass shootings in April decreased by 21% from the year before. The number of people killed or injured in those shootings decreased by 25%. But with most of America under some kind of stay-at-home order in April, experts say that drop is to be expected.
This is a real outlier time where I think it's very hard to read too much into the fact on what's happening in mass shootings, since the locations where mass shootings typically occur are all shut down.
But mass shootings are a small subset of America's gun violence crisis. Some cities have seen gun violence increase, including Dallas and Tucson, according to The Trace.
Mass shootings, those that are breaking news, cannot be the measure of how we're doing as a nation approaching gun violence, because although they're spectacular, they are newsworthy, and they are catastrophic, they really don't typify the real issues of gun violence in our country, and we shouldn't accept it as normal.
Some places stay on these lockdown orders. Again, that mass shooting may not happen down the street outside, but there could be an atrocity inside the home.
The Giffords Law Center says, on average, about 100 Americans are killed by guns every day, and 2/3 of those deaths are suicides.
And if you look at what the risk factors that are being increased right now, isolation, economic uncertainty, increased alcohol use, all of those are risk factors for suicide. When you add in a gun, that person's risk is being increased for suicide.
During the pandemic, gun purchases in America have gone up, and many of the buyers were first-time gun owners. Across the country, people have said the fear of the unknown pushed them to buy a firearm.
What my fear is that many people made a choice to bring a gun in their home, thinking that they were doing the right thing for themselves and their family. And because they haven't trained, and the fact that they're under other stress, they've brought an item in their home that's much more likely to hurt themselves, a family member, or result in the tragedy they hope to, avoid in the first place.
Stephanie Liebergen, Newsy, Miami.
Don't forget, people, the guns are still out there, and they're coming for you. And the barbecues. I don't trust those damn barbecues. They have alternative motives, too. Do you see a pattern here? I think I'm seeing a pattern here. Everything, you have to be afraid of everything, right? You have to be afraid of absolutely everything. I'm seeing a pattern for sure. So I can play another video, or let's see, China coast. Let's see. Oh yeah, the coast open. Nope. Trump wearing mask. Ooh, Trump wearing mask. You want to see Trump wearing mask? They don't show it. Trump won't wear a mask on camera, but he'll talk about wearing a mask on camera.
CBS News has confirmed that the CDC will release guidelines later today on reopening churches, which President Trump describes as essential. The president visited his third battleground state yesterday, touring a Ford plant in Michigan. He was told to wear a mask and carried one, but he refused to wear it in front of the TV cameras. Ben Tracy reports from the White House on that.
Here's my mask right here. And I liked it very much. I think I look better in the mask.
President Trump held a navy blue mask in his hand and explained his reason for not keeping it on.
I had one on before. I wore one in this back area, but I didn't want to give the press the pleasure of seeing it.
The president was seen in this photo briefly wearing the mask. Ford sources tell CBS News that Chairman Bill Ford expected President Trump to wear it the entire time per the strict policy of the plant and was surprised when he took it off. The state's governor, Gretchen Whitmer, called the president's decision not to wear a mask during the tour disappointing.
It's really important that anyone with a platform has a responsibility to make sure that they model precisely what we're asking everyone else to do. This is about public health, not one person's or another.
The president has clashed with Whitmer, and his visit came just a day after he threatened to withhold federal funding from the state, upset by Michigan's plans to expand vote by mail for upcoming elections. President Trump claims without any evidence that mail-in voting leads to widespread election fraud. With a second wave of coronavirus expected to hit this fall or winter, states are trying to plan for elections while also keeping people safe. But President Trump says if there's a second wave, he won't shut the country down again.
We're going to put out the fires. There could be, whether it's an ember or a flame, we're going to put it out. But we're not closing our country.
Now, Michigan's Attorney General had warned President Trump that it was state law that he wear a mask inside that plant. President Trump fired back on Twitter overnight, calling her a wacky do-nothing AG, saying she should be careful or Ford may leave Michigan. Now, meanwhile, flags here at the White House and at all federal buildings across the country are flying at half staff in honor of those who have lost their lives to coronavirus. Anthony?
Ben, thank you. We're getting a new warning about a rare inflammatory syndrome tied to the coronavirus in children. More than 330 cases have been reported, and at least 4 children have died. And now doctors say it could also affect young adults. CBS News senior medical correspondent Dr. Tara Narula joins us. Tara, good morning. To begin with, what are doctors learning about this new development?
Well, Anthony, by and large, we are still calling this syndrome a disease or syndrome that affects children and teenagers. In fact, the case definition by the CDC requires that an individual be less than the age of 21. Now, that's not to say that we may not see sporadic cases or emerging cases in individuals that are over 21. That's really a cutoff that's a little bit arbitrary in the sense that we know that our biology and physiology doesn't change tremendously between 21, 23, and 24. So as we see some of these cases that fit the other clinical manifestations emerging in a little bit of an older population, the case definition may change. I think it just fits with what we're seeing with this virus, is that we're learning more and more each day. And really what this does is alert adult cardiologists like myself and internists to be aware if they see somebody with some of these symptoms and signs to be on high alert. You may want to refer them, and you may want to alert your health department.
Remind folks what the symptoms are, Tara.
So primary symptoms are going to be fever, moderate or high fever that lasts for several days, abdominal symptoms in children, so nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, a rash, bloodshot eyes, and then worsening symptoms might be things like chest pain or shortness of breath or lethargy or confusion. All of those should prompt parents to pick up the phone, call their pediatrician, and potentially take them to an emergency room if necessary, ideally one that has a pediatric intensive care unit.
All right, Tara. Dr. Tara Narula, thank you very much. Tony?
Anthony.
There's the mic. Hey, everybody. We got a caller on the phone. We have Joe from Pennsylvania. And Joe, you were saying that you got the green light to go back to work in the next couple weeks. Is that right?
Correct. In Pennsylvania, I live in one of the northwestern districts in Pennsylvania, and Tom Wolf, our governor, today had just said that he's going to reopen up these districts because we went from code yellow to code green. It's like the same code that they did after 9/11.
Yeah.
To just remind us that things are getting a little bit safer, quote unquote. But so next week, after 2 months, I'll finally be going back to work, which will be nice. I got the text from my manager earlier this evening.
Wow, great. I know you mentioned that every time you called, that you really just want to get back to work.
I just want that social interaction again, Michael.
You know, the thing about the restaurants and the bars, it always was I loved serving a good meal, man. You know, if you're serving really good food, I can sell. I mean, the chef would be like, "Yeah, I have 2 of these things left. Go sell them right now." And I'd be like, "No problem, man." I'd come back to whatever it was you just said. You know?
Yeah. Well, for me, just on the bartending end of it, I miss the social interaction. I mean, mixing up the drinks and serving drinks that's a very small part of it. But just seeing the same people over and over and having the same these conversations with people. It's that human interaction is, when you're stuck in your house and you're walking around getting your exercise, for the last couple of months, every morning I get up and I go do my morning walk up the hill, and but it's just me by myself, which is kind of nice. It's me out in nature, but 2 months of isolation is really, with the exception of going to the store and wearing a mask and not having any kind of social identity, it's just not the same. I want to be able to go back and have that contact again.
I just despise what's happening. So, and what I see happening, Joe, is I see all these beaches opening up, right? And it's not like all of a sudden 1 week after, last week, it's safe now for the beaches to reopen. It's that these fucking douchebag petty tyrants in charge know that the people are going to go to the beach. So they're like, "Oh fuck, man, if we don't open the beaches, then we're going to have problems. They're going to push back, and the more they push back, the less they respect us, so we need them to respect us so that when we say, "Oh no, there's a second wave,"
Oh yeah. Well, that's another one of my concerns though too, because I do have a somewhat conspiratorial brain that kicks on every once in a while.
Well, they've set it up very clearly. I mean, it's not just conspiratorial. It's obvious what they're set, the path that they want this to go. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, what I was going to say is it almost seems like, you've got people who for the last, several months have been, staying inside and weakening their immune systems by distancing themselves from people, not getting the sunlight, not getting the exercise, eating very poorly. And they're setting themselves up for, potential health risks.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder if there's an ulterior motive where, okay, now we're going to open up, because you saw Fauci today, I'm sure, Anthony Fauci saying, the dangers are, more likely to happen because of the shutdowns, and we were wrong all along. And Dr. Deborah Birx came on and was talking about all the positive things that are coming out of the CDC to lead to opening back up. And again, the conspiratorial side of my brain says, are they doing this on purpose? They're letting all these people who are immunocompromised over the last couple of months go back out so that they can later, when all these people start getting sick because they're getting a shock to their system,
it's the one thing it's the one way to guarantee a second wave.
Thank you. You made my point for me.
Yeah.
That's the point I was getting to is, are they doing this with the intention of making people, take that shock and then say, see, we told you all along we were right, and then drop the hammer even harder the second time around.
Right. That's my big concern is where they're going with the hammer next, because they already fucking basically instituted martial law without having to put the troops into the street,
Yeah, with very little effort.
Yeah.
It didn't take any effort at all. It just took a little suggestion, a little prodding. And that's a very disturbing element of our society right now, is that it happens so easily with very little resistance. That was another thing I wanted to bring up. What do you think about that? The whole this whole change in narrative from the experts.
Again, it's because this thing they've changed back and forth again and again. The first thing they said was don't wear a mask. Fauci said you shouldn't be wearing masks, and then I was like, oh, everyone has to wear a mask. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you something, Joe. If you're the expert and you can't give me consistent fucking information, you're no fucking expert. Get the fuck away. Go find another fucking job, because you're not an expert at what you're doing here. That's for sure.
No, if you're going to present yourself as an expert, you better show an established pattern of expertise. Otherwise, you're just another quack.
You need to be consistent, man. You can't say, people shouldn't be wearing masks, and then all of a sudden, it's mandatory for everyone to wear masks. And the reason they didn't want people wearing masks at first was because it was going to make people sick. They were actually, and because they'd be taking up all the supply of the mask and everything. But,
exactly, yeah.
But they, they actually were worried about people getting sick, and now I know that those masks are going to be making people sick, and I'm genuinely worried about that. So I hope that if you feel like you need to wear a mask, you wear a mask. If somebody tells you have to wear a mask, you decide what you need to do. As I've said, you can tell them that you have a medical condition that it makes it so you can't breathe when you put a mask on, which is what I would do at this point. Or you can tell them that you're a concealed carry gun owner and that it's illegal for you to wear a mask while you're carrying a gun. And I bet the conversation stops there. What's that?
That's a very good point, actually. Yeah.
I imagine their eyes will probably get a little bit bigger, and they'll go, "Oh, thank you, sir," or something. Yeah. But that'll be the end of the conversation there, so you know.
And then as you're leaving the store, you've got 4 state police cars waiting outside saying, "What is this about?"
Well, if you're legit, but.
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's actually a very good point. Why would I want to conceal my identity? I'm carrying.
Yeah, it's illegal. It's illegal for you. It's illegal for you too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's also illegal for them. If you were to say, hey, listen, I've got a medical condition, and they were to press the issue and say, well, what's your medical condition? You can turn back at them and say, well, listen, you asking me that's a potential $75,000 fine on your part, because you're violating the HIPAA laws by demanding that I give you personal medical information about myself in order to engage in basic commerce.
Exactly.
So you might want to be careful. You might want to mind your P's and Q's when you're asking me these questions.
Right. They're not allowed to ask you what your medical condition is.
Exactly. Yep. So I'm just super thrilled that I'm finally being allowed to earn a living again. Granted by the state, my benevolent benefactors.
When does that start?
Telling me that Next Friday.
Next Friday. Awesome. I bet you there's a lot of people looking forward to seeing you, man.
Well, thank you for that. You know, and I know for a fact there are, because I've already talked to several of them. They've already told me, hey, we can't wait to see you back there behind the bar.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see all of them too. Dude, man, I love my fucking brothers down there. But yeah, so it just sucks that this whole situation, and I feel bad for, you know, other people like in New York or these other states that still have these really heavy-handed orders right now that don't have the opportunity to you know, just earn a living again. You know? And,
yeah, well, it's still pretty much locked down here in the Seattle area. There's most of the businesses are still not allowed to operate. It's really this phasing in of the freedom thing is it just really, you know, over the line, man. It's either safe or it's not fucking safe, asshole. And clearly you have some issue with, you know, telling us the truth. So fuck off.
Well, and the thing is that's the other thing too is, I mean, well, there was the big hubbub about Donald Trump, I guess today, was talking about, you know, churches, institutions of worship, you know, people, you know, saying you don't have a right to, the states don't have a right to keep people from engaging in their, you know, going to their places of worship. And I agree with that. And I come at that from a position of a freedom-loving atheist. You know, I mean, the First Amendment very clearly says that, you know, no government has a right to deprive you, you know, to keep you from the free exercise thereof of your religious freedoms. And it doesn't matter if there's a pandemic or anything going on right now. And I'm not a religious person, but I mean, that's a basic freedom guaranteed, especially by the Constitution.
And the reason a lot of people have faith is because they have this like fear to start with. You know, they're afraid of, you know, they're walking through the valley of the shadow of the death, and they need to be shepherded through it. You know, and now in the time of plague, you know, they need that shepherding more than ever, I would imagine. You know,
yeah.
So
well, if it gives them comfort, it gives them a better sense of overall mental well-being.
Yeah.
And why would you want to deprive anybody of that?
No.
I mean, the way I look at it, Mike, is so long as you're not, you know, being pushy with your beliefs or, you know, trying to forcefully impose them on other people, I don't give a fuck what you do. You believe whatever you want. It's not up to me to tell you what's right or what's wrong or what's in your own best interest. If you've got a certain belief system, by all means, you go ahead and practice it. And the First Amendment says that as well too.
You know, I just see it as you know, first you have the right to live your life the way you see fit, and second, no one's ever going to take that right from you. You know.
Well, you should never allow anybody to take that right from you, because people are more than willing and capable.
Well, they're
as has been established.
No, see, it's not that you shouldn't allow, okay? It's that they're never going to take it from you, because they can't take it from you. You can only allow them to, because we've given you the right to stand up against them. So they can't take your freedom. You can only allow it to happen. So as you're saying, it shouldn't be allowed, but that's the only way it can happen, because they're not, you know, the only way they can take our freedom is to fucking throw us in jail. Like I've been saying forever, this government's been at war with me since I was 15 years old, because I choose the smartest alternative to all the things that I see as poison. You know,
yeah,
and for whatever reason, you know, that makes me, you know, enemy number one, and it's always been, and I know it's had an effect on my life. Not that I want my life to be different or anything. I'm just saying it would have been nice not to feel like that the government was somehow at war with me, you know. And that's part of the plan too, is to make the people who do color outside the lines, you know, to always be looking over their shoulders and shit, You know, you stay in line, you stay inside the lines, or we're coming for you.
Right. Well, and that's the other thing, though, too, because I see a lot of people who also say, well, you know, they don't have a right to put other people at risk. Well, nobody is going to church who doesn't want to go to church. So, I mean, anybody who's going to any of these places, they're doing it of their own volition. So it's not like anybody is forcing them to go there. And people say, well, they don't have a right to put other people at risk. But you know what? There's no more danger in these people going to church or their mosque or their synagogue than there is going and worshiping at the altar of Walmart. You know, well, I don't understand how.
Look, here's the deal. You say, well, you don't have any right to they don't have any right to put us at risk, right? So, but then basically you don't have any right to get behind the wheel of your car, because you getting behind the wheel of your car, something could go wrong and you could kill 2, 3, 4 people. You know,
how dare people, selfishly commute to work every day?
You know, I'm not saying that you will, but you recognize the fact that something could go wrong, right? Like all of a sudden you don't have brakes, or all of a sudden the accelerator, goes, guns it, and you can't get it to unstick. You know, these things happen, right? And you could potentially kill a bunch of people that way. So. Yeah. I mean, it's the same. That's pretty much the same thing, isn't it?
Living life carries its own risks every day. We all run risks every day simply based on our own existence. And to just say that, because you're doing this, now you're putting people at a greater risk. That's a silly mindset. It's just a very childish way to go about living your life. We all run risks every day simply by the virtue of our own existence.
For sure.
Yeah, so probably not a long call tonight, Mike. Not as drunk as I usually am when I call you up, so
Hey Joey, like I said, it's always good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to you as well, Michael. Take care of yourself, and after Friday, I probably won't be calling in nearly as often, so because these are my working hours.
Oh well, I you know what? Check in when you can. So I look forward to hearing what things are like at work too. So do check in when you can, okay?
Yeah, you got it, man.
All right. Talk to you soon, I hope.
Okay, take care, brother.
Have a great weekend.
You do the same.
See ya. That's our buddy Joe from Pennsylvania. It's always nice to hear from him. Let's see. So I have a video about. I have a video. Did I play the one about Trump wearing mask? I think I did. I think that's what I played right before Joe came on. I have a video about China. China is fucking with Hong Kong real bad. And I'm going to play this video, and then I'm going to heat up the bong, and we're going to have a big fat puff for Pete, because it's Dabs for Donation Friday, and Pete kicked down a fucking nice donation. That's very nice of you. A big old $10 donation from Peter. Thank you very much, Peter. And if any of you would like to leave a donation, because Mox News does survive on donations from generous people like yourselves. If any of you would like to leave a donation, I will be most happy to take a dab in your name. And Craig says you get Mox News stickers in the mail if you leave a donation. These are professionally made vinyl die cut stickers. And Craig is I think he's sending out like 10 of them. So, and we'll make sure you get a Mox News business card too, because I know people love those things. They are just like collectors, man. Knowledge is free, baby. And Craig's working on a mask that looks just like that. A face mask that looks just like that. So, but for whatever reason, they're having trouble getting it approved. But I will go ahead and heat up the bong while we watch this video about China fucking with everybody.
Delegates taking part in the National People's Congress in China have announced a plan to create a law to authorize its direct involvement in maintaining security in Hong Kong, where anti-government protests are continuing.
Anti-government protesters are openly calling for Hong Kong's independence and destroying social order.
Wang read out a draft resolution on creating legislation to protect national security in the territory. The proposed law would also allow Chinese security authorities to set up agencies in Hong Kong to carry out their duties. The vice chairperson alleged foreign intervention is threatening national security, adding the Hong Kong government cannot create a national security law on its own. He said China will never tolerate acts that breach the one country, two systems principle or try to split the nation. Pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong are criticizing the plan.
Xi Jinping had torn away the whole pretense of one country, two systems. So they are announcing to the world that Hong Kong is no longer under one country, two system. It is now one country, one system.
The former lawmaker also said citizens in Hong Kong have exercised their rights and freedom to criticize China and demand democracy, but such acts will be criminalized.
There are increasing concerns tonight about what some are characterizing as a power grab by China. Under President Xi, the government is considering a law to forbid secessionist and subversive activity in Hong Kong. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo calls it a death knell for the high degree of autonomy Beijing had promised. National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin has details tonight from the Pentagon.
Scuffles broke out in the Hong Kong legislature today when pro-Beijing leaders introduced a national security bill to crack down on Hong Kong's autonomy, despite a warning from President Trump.
If it happens, we'll address that issue very strongly.
The Hong Kong stock market fell 5%.
If you had capital invested in China and you saw this sort of disdain for the rule of law that they're potentially magnifying towards Hong Kong, then you would want to get your capital out of there.
Hong Kong demonstrators protested most of last year against a proposed change to extradition laws before coronavirus hit. China's foreign ministry accused the Trump administration of having a Cold War mentality following a White House NSC report released Wednesday.
Distorts China's political system and strategic intentions and vigorously hypes the Chinese threat.
Defense Secretary Mark Esper said the Pentagon is seeing an uptick in incidents involving the Chinese military.
They sunk a vessel in the South China Sea. They continue to intimidate their neighbors, whether it's fishing rights or oil drilling rights in the South China Sea. This is, again, you see increased aggressive behavior by China.
Fox News has learned since mid-March that Chinese fighter jets have buzzed U.S. reconnaissance planes 9 times, coinciding with the pandemic outbreak on board the USS Teddy Roosevelt.
Amid the new tensions between the U.S. and China, including ongoing finger-pointing over China's role at the start of the pandemic, this week the administration announced progress in the U.S.-China trade agreement. Brett?
Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Jennifer, thank you.
I gotta heat this just a touch more. I gotta make sure it's hot enough because we have a big fat dab. We're gonna do a big fat dab in space. Big fat dab in space. But I want to make sure this is hot enough because it's a big fat dab, and big fat dabs take a little bit of extra heat. Oh, it's so juicy. Oh, get in there. Focus. Oh. It's so juicy. I think this is about ready. It's almost ready. It's all. Come on. Get on there. Sparkle, bitch. Sparkle. Oh, come on, sparkle. Sparkle. Oh, look how sparkly it is. Oh my God, it's so sparkly. Thanks, Pete. This one's for Pete. Oh, man, that's good. All right. So, thanks very much to Pete. It's Dabs for Donations Friday. If you want to leave a donation, there's clickable links in the description box of this video. Or you can go to moxnews.com. Should take less than 2 minutes to give something back. And I have more videos to play for you. I have a video about, did you guys see Biden today? Did you see the video? I posted a video earlier with Biden where he was saying, you know, what he said about black people and such. And how, you know, if you're black and you vote for, if you're not supporting him, then you ain't black. Or something like that. I have that video. I can play that for you now. I have the Memorial Day video. Oh, we already played. Oh, no, that's different. That's different. We don't have all that many videos left. I'm going to play the Biden video for you, because that's the one that you guys need to see the most if you didn't see it already.
First up, former Vice President Joe Biden is taking heavy criticism tonight over a comment about the African-American vote. The presumptive Democratic presidential nominee told a radio host this morning, if someone does not support him, quote, then you ain't black. Critics immediately said the comment proves Democrats take the African-American vote for granted. Joe Biden apologized late this afternoon, saying he was too cavalier. We'll have reaction from two African-American members of Congress, one Democrat, one Republican, in just a moment. First, correspondent Peter Doocy leads us off tonight. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening, Brett. You could hear a Biden staffer telling the radio host to wrap it up as he tried to ask more questions. But Joe Biden decided to just try to answer whatever it was going to be with this.
We got more questions. You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
At first, a Biden aide said that was a joke, but hours after the interview aired, Biden walked it back, telling black business leaders,
I shouldn't have been such a wise guy. I shouldn't have been so cavalier.
And Biden argued this morning, the one with a gaffe problem is President Trump.
The more he talks, the better off I am.
This is already a cultural issue for Diddy, who tweets, Joe Biden, I already told you the hashtag black vote ain't free. And a campaign issue for Republican Michigan Senate hopeful John James.
Vice President Biden, with all due respect, your latest comments are both pathetic and hurtful.
The founder of Black Entertainment Television calls this, quote, the arrogant and out-of-touch attitude of a paternalistic white candidate who has the audacity to tell black people, the descendants of slaves, that they are not black unless they vote for him. The interviewer, Charlemagne the God, tells Mediaite, we have been loyal to Democrats for a long time. Black people have invested a lot into that party, and the return on investment has not been great.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see. Take a look at my record, man.
Rivals did that this cycle. Cory Booker challenged his work on the 1994 crime bill.
Mr. Vice President, there's a saying in my community, you're dipping into the Kool-Aid and you don't even know the flavor.
And Kamala Harris challenged past work with segregationist senators.
You also worked with them to oppose busing.
Harris and Booker have now both endorsed Biden, and Harris is reportedly a possible running mate.
No one's been vetted yet by the team.
Only time will tell if Biden's new comment was as damaging as this one from Hillary Clinton.
You could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Because in 2012, Biden helped Obama win despite this comment to a predominantly African-American audience about Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan.
He's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
8 years later, Biden is still trying to relate with things like his pledge to decriminalize marijuana.
I know a lot of weed smokers.
Biden wouldn't be the presumptive Democratic nominee without strong African-American support. He hadn't come close to a win in primaries or caucuses in Iowa, New Hampshire, or Nevada before his big night in South Carolina that set him up for a strong Super Tuesday and helped him finally surpass Bernie Sanders. Brett?
Peter, thanks. Let's get some balanced reaction to all of this. The Biden comment. Texas Democratic Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee joins us tonight. Congresswoman, thanks for being here. I want to get your reaction to that story, the comment today. What you think about it?
Well, I'm going to take off my mask. I want everybody to know that we should be wearing masks, but I'm not near someone for 6 feet, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off. Good to be with you. The good news is I am delighted that the vice president was on The Breakfast Club. It is a dynamic show with a very probative, questioning host. That was the right thing to do. And then as well, I think the right thing to do was to own up that it might not have been.
All right, I don't want to drive anybody away with that clown. I just wanted you guys to see the part where she had a mask on and then took the mask off. She's like, I'm going to take the mask off now because I have no reason to be wearing a mask. Well, why are you wearing a mask, you clown? You know, it's like, I need to set the example. It's just never ending with these people, you know. Setting the example is being a logical, upright human being who tries to do the right thing by her community, and I don't know that that's who she is. So I think I have just like one more. There was a little more to that video. If you want to see it, like I said, it's not just her that responded, Maxine Waters, not just Maxine Waters who responded. It was also Tim Scott from, I think he's from South Carolina or North Carolina, one or the other. South Carolina, I think, but I'm not positive. So I am not sure if I played the Coast opening video here from today. They're opening the Coast here in Washington State also. Again, phasing in the freedom, trickling back your options on, you know, living your life, as if somehow, you know, it's up to them. But you know, like I keep saying, you guys do what you need to do, but recognize who the real threat to your personal freedom is. And it's not China, and it's not ISIS, and it's not the Russians, and it's not Iraq, it's not Afghanistan, you know. So, because now it's more clear than ever that the only real threat to our personal freedom is our state and local governments and our federal government. They're the ones who say, no, you can't have freedom today. Oh, wait, you know what? This weekend we're going to let you have freedom. How about that? Not today. Not today. This weekend. Friday is not the weekend. Do you hear me?
It's definitely new and uncharted waters for everyone.
Now on Q13 News, the Coast is getting ready to reopen. A green light from the governor to jump ahead just in time for the holiday weekend that could bring a lot more people out to the ocean. First of four, Governor Inslee says 4 more counties are ready to move into phase 2 of reopening the state's economy. Thank you for joining us on what is a really busy Friday. I'm Matt Lorch.
And I'm Jamie Tompkins. 2 of the 4 places getting the go-ahead today are here in western Washington, Grays Harbor County and Lewis County, both getting that approval, along with Adams and Spokane. Now, this means businesses like salons and restaurants can reopen on a limited basis as long as they follow health and safety requirements. A total of 14 counties around the state are now entering phase 2. Several more counties in our region are eligible to apply for phase 2, but they're not there just yet. Kittitas County is on pause until next Tuesday because of an outbreak situation there.
And Jamie, the phase 2 reopening comes just in time as hotels in Ocean Shores are expecting crowds to now head to the beach. Even so, this Memorial Day weekend, it's going to look very different this year.
Yeah, hotels and restaurants will likely max out their reduced capacity while taking care to make sure that everyone stays safe. Tonight, Q13 Steve Kiggins shows us how our coastal communities are bracing for tourists. Steve?
Yeah, you got it right, Jamie. Most of the business owners that we talk to along the Washington coast tell us, look, normally their busy season starts back in April for spring break. Nonetheless, they tell us, look, they're excited to get back to work. Even so, they're also worried about the virus. The fifth wheels rolled into Ocean Shores early. Finally, tourists can replace the deer They don't have any cash anyways.
Bottom line is a big goose egg. Zero income.
Mike Doolittle's business depends on families for their games, go-karts, and ice cream. But since his tiny beach town has been on lockdown for months, exactly how this weekend might work is still an unknown.
All the sanitization procedures and all, it just takes us longer to do what we need to do.
Crews at the Canterbury Inn have been cleaning like mad. Capacity has also been halved in Ocean Shores hotels. Amenities are also scaled back. No pools, no barbecues. It's a holiday weekend, but city regulations require a not-so-vacation-like stay.
I hope that people understand that it's definitely new and uncharted waters for everyone.
I'm a little nervous, but I don't know. We got to start somewhere.
And it's similar for the Ocean Shores Inn and Suites. Half of their rooms are off limits to guests. Management here is advising customers to cook their own food during their visit to try and limit any viral exposure in town.
The grocery store, that is where all the locals go. And as soon as one person gets sick out here, the mayor's going to close this back down. That's how I feel.
We just got in our single-use menus yesterday.
Jim Edwards runs Pirates Cove Pub. They've moved indoor seating 6 feet apart and have enough PPE for employees. He says Grace Harbor County entered phase 2 just in time.
Be a good warm-up. By next week, we'll be fully going, I think.
Basically shut the town down till now.
Renting a bike for a ride on the beach will come with extra sanitizer. Since phase 2 is in effect, even other business owners are looking forward to eating out for a change.
We've been waiting a long time to eat a meal out, so.
I've sort of been keeping my customers at bay.
Diane Johnson's Ocean Spray Beach Resort is farther south along the coast, and while she's booked solid for the holiday weekend, she worries the virus still has the power to crush her plans.
Kevin.
My main concern is that if numbers increase with
we're not live right
cases within the next 2 weeks, that we will be shut down, and that will totally devastate the hospitality industry.
No problem, dude. That was pretty hilarious.
So
hold
Grace
on
Harbor
just a
County
second,
health
and
officials are
this is
warning that
almost
the virus
over.
is still out there. They're recommending everyone pay close attention to social distancing and practice good hygiene practices. They're also recommending that, the gatherings of groups of people, anything larger than 5, it's still not recommended. Steve Kiggins, Q13 News.
All right, thank you, Steve.
All right, hey, we got Kevin on the line. Hey, Kevin, how's it going, bro?
Pretty good. Just want to call and talk about that Joe Biden.
Right on. Where you calling from? Chicago. And you saw the clip earlier, or you just saw it just now?
I saw the clip earlier today, yeah.
Right on. Okay, go ahead. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, man, it's like what Joe Biden's doing is, I think that is a mindset that a lot of African Americans do have. Is they like to use it. I've heard that time and time again in Chicago. Got a lot of black friends, and it's a typical talking point. Like, oh man, you're a sellout. You're a coon. They use that term, coon, and you're a sellout. You're Uncle Tom, things like that.
Uh-huh.
And I think Joe Biden is playing into that. He's playing into that, and I think that'll work. I don't think that's going to hurt him. I honestly don't think that's going to hurt him, because even though there's been some black people who said, "Oh, I can't believe he said that."
Well, you don't tell somebody that they're not black. You know what I mean? It's like it's like, who the fuck are you? Again, I mean, I think that guy was way more professional than I ever would have been. I would have been, what? Excuse me, what location are you at right now, sir?
I agree, but I'm talking about the mass. Will it have an impact on the polls with the black vote, with his black vote? I don't think it will. I don't think it will have an impact. I think they're still going to come in droves. The last poll I've seen is like 9% of the black vote, maybe even more than that.
Yeah, I haven't even seen anything about it on CNN all day. Are they talking? I don't even know if they talked about it on CNN all day long. So everybody's going to avoid it as much as they can, like they always do.
Yeah, that's a good point. But what I wanted to talk about, though, is the mindset of because I've heard this saying, like all the time. They try to do that. Oh, you're a sellout. You ain't a real one. Things like that, and I think Joe Biden was playing into that because.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense. I think you might be giving him a little bit of credit to be able to use, that powerful a psychology, but you might be right. He might be, going, you just hurt him in, man. I hear what you're saying. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, because you can really hear white people talking like, "Oh, you're not a real white person," and like kind of an Uncle Tom and cool and these kind of terms. I don't know if you're familiar with these terms, but it's real prevalent in the black community. And I just don't think it's going to hurt them. I just don't think it's going to hurt Joe Biden when it comes to the Democratic vote. They get a lock. They come in droves. They got the Hispanic community, the black community, they come in droves out.
Yeah, but you know what? It's the middle of a pandemic, and maybe it's just safer not to go. The guy's got some kind of problem with black people, clearly. Why should we even go? Whatever. But I hear you. Who else do they have to vote for? Look, this is the big problem with the two-party system, the two-party bullshit. It's like there's nowhere else to go, and, but there is other options. I'm sure in Illinois there will be other people to vote for on the ballot.
It'll be a Democrat.
No, for president. I mean, it'll be like there'll be a libertarian candidate and there'll probably be a green candidate on the ballot there. So,
Yeah, I hear you. But as far as Joe Biden, maybe I am giving him too much credit. Maybe the dude's just senile and he's lost his mind, because that's a very good possibility too.
He always makes these comments about ethnic people, though. I mean, he has like a history of doing this, where he makes these comments about ethnic people, and it's just like way kind of like out of line, like what the fuck? And somehow he does get away with it, but again, he's run for president like 3 times and lost 3 times, so,
Yep. You know what else is funny is it seems like white people are more upset than black people.
I don't know. I haven't talked to a lot of black people today, so I'm not sure.
From what I've seen, it's like they're saying, yeah, you're gonna vote for Donald Trump, the freaking racist, and this and that. If you vote for him, you ain't a real black person. This and that. I've heard that sentiments. I've seen it echoed on Twitter that Joe Biden, he's correct in that assessment. You're gonna vote for that racist, that white supremacist. Joe Biden's right. You ain't a real black. This and that. So
I can't believe women will vote for him. It's like, during the whole Kavanaugh Supreme Court thing, I mean, everybody was giving the woman the benefit of the doubt, and we have to be on the woman's side, and whatever. I'm fine with that. Fucking Kavanaugh is a horrible piece of shit, but who belongs in Guantanamo Bay for the rest of his life. Again, when Trump was running for president, and these women came out one after another accusing him, I don't remember, the media bashing on those women, but now they seem to be like, jumping on some kind of bandwagon where this woman's got conflicting stories about Joe Biden. And here's the deal. That's not the only woman that's coming out about Joe Biden. There's more on the way. You can count on it. It's almost like the media is trying to warn them off, Like, if you come out, you're going to get treated like this, too. Yeah, it's total hypocrisy.
There's nothing worse than a hypocrite. There's nothing worse than a hypocrite.
Well, war criminals, war profiteers. But I hate these people. I hate these fucking people on the news. They're the worst. They just spread fear, and they just, and I know that they profit off of it, and that's why they buy into the fear so much. Why they're so good spreading the fear endlessly is because somehow they profit off of it.
it comes down to tribal politics, identity politics. It's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
As far as the news goes, the more afraid you are, then the more the more you have to tune in to know what it is that you have to be afraid of, It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So, Joe Biden, what do you think? Do you think he's got a shot?
Dude, the day that Joe Biden announced he was running for president, I went on camera and I made a video titled, "Anyone who gives Joe Biden money is a fucking idiot." Okay, and that's the title of it says effing idiot. You can go and look it up. It's posted on, and that's and I still feel exactly that same way. Number one, I don't think that he can stand on the same stage with Donald Trump and not have some major gaffes. And number two, anybody who looks at Biden's record, it's like he's so police state, it's fucking off the charts, And now he wants to legalize marijuana. That's a load of bullshit. He did not want to do that. Just when he started this campaign, he was like, no, I'm not for legalizing marijuana. Now all of a sudden he's for legalizing marijuana, He's just fucking bullshit.
I just think there's a lot of people that are Uncle Joe, Obama's his sidekick, his partner in crime.
Obama is like the worst president of my lifetime, and it's so unfortunate that I want to say that, knowing how horrible fucking George W. Bush was and all the other people. But Obama was the worst because he was the one that had the most fucking hope. Everybody really believed that he could do something. He could have done something for not just America. He could have changed the world, and he chose not to because he had the whole fucking support of the whole fucking world, and they were like, anywhere that you want to take this, let's make it happen. And he did nothing but go exactly where George W. Bush went, He fucking he fucking jacked up the police state in overdrive. Compared to him, Joe Biden did nothing back in the 80s, man, which is horrible what Joe Biden did back in the 80s. What Barack Obama did in his 2 terms of president with the Department of Homeland Security handing out grant money to buy fucking anti-mine fucking vehicles and shit. To to local police departments, just idiotic.
I agree, but in talking to the wider audience and like the mass scale, they still view Obama as a hero, as like as a good guy. Oh, he's a clean cut, good politician who represented America the right way and this and that. And I think Joe Biden's.
He could have been the great. I wish, honestly, Kevin, I wish I could be the one leading the charge to put Barack Obama's face up on Mount Rushmore. I wish I could be that guy. But you know what? All of us know he doesn't deserve that.
No way. He was controlled by the same donors that Trump is controlled by the same people that Biden's controlled by. Joe Biden. I mean, when it comes to him, he's controlled by the same people. What was I just about to say? AIPAC, that lobby. Of course, he's controlled by them.
Well, look, they're controlled by the rich people, dude. It's the rich people, okay? And and it's not this group or that group. It's the rich people. This is how it boils down. If the rich people wanted America to have a 21st century infrastructure, America would have a 21st century infrastructure. There is zero doubt in my mind. But the rich people don't want that, so fuck Americans. Okay?
You know what I was gonna say?
Yeah.
I was gonna say real quick, Trump, the lesser of two evils. When it comes to Trump, the reason why I'm supporting Trump over Biden is because the reason people hate Trump is for so-called racism and oh, he's xenophobia and every other buzz term they come up with.
No, he's just a horrible human. He's just a horrible. He's just a horrible human being, dude. He's a horrible human being. Go ahead.
I agree, but at least he represents, or at least what he's trying to portray is nationalism, populism, and that's what he represents. That in the terms of in this,
he doesn't come across like the other fucking scumbags. That's for sure.
And if people actually said, oh no, I don't like Trump because he's another Zionist puppet, Sheldon Adelson, he's controlled by people like that, and said he was going to do this and build a wall and blah, blah, blah. But really, he's just bending over for Israel, sending the embassy to Jerusalem, and some more anti-BDS laws.
Yeah, the anti-BDS stuff, I can't stand that. You know, I mean, it's like somehow, you're not allowed to speak. That's completely un-American, and I think it shows Donald Trump to be an enemy, to the Constitution, and I think that's a serious thing to consider.
Yeah, exactly. If people came down and started protesting that, and were fighting against that, then I could get behind them. I could say, yeah, you're right, but their whole gripe with Trump is he's racist and he's blah blah blah, all these buzzwords, which that's all bullcrap, man. Let's focus on the real issues like lobbying, who's he controlled by,
right?
More these important issues, but they're so caught up in a little communist lingo of xenophobia and he's a Hitler and blah blah blah. That it's just like I can't help but support him. Not support him, but rather him than
yeah, no, I get it, Kevin. I've come to like Donald Trump's defense again and again, because the fucking media is going nah, this, and I'm like, that's bullshit. And it's not that I want to come to Donald Trump's defense, but I can't let the media sit there and be full of shit, So there's little room.
Yep, exactly. And when it comes to the anti-BDS laws, like you were saying, it's just so funny when all these free speech constitutionalists, rah-rah patriots, all of a sudden they're real quiet. All of a sudden it's, that's different because it's Israel and they're their own democracy in the Middle East, and all of a sudden they got a different tune. All of a sudden, there's an exception to free speech in that case because they're our greatest ally, and it's just a joke. You can see who's paying them, who they work for, and it's everything so obvious when it comes to situations like that.
Well, anybody's a threat to your freedom of expression, which clearly is the Congress and the White House and your local, state, and federal government. These are the real enemies. These are the only threats to your personal freedom, and this is what the most important thing that we can make happen is to recognize that real enemy, so that we can come together and fucking squash it like it deserves to be squashed.
Exactly. I mean, we could disagree on a lot of issues, but when it comes to the basic constitutional rights, everybody should get behind it. Individual liberty, property rights, freedom of expression, freedom of association. These are all freaking basic human rights that no one should have an issue with. But it seems like there's some disconnect where people are having an issue with trying to push communist agenda. Oh no, it's we shouldn't have individual rights. The state should decide, and it's getting nutty. Like before, everybody would have a common ground, but it's getting further and further to where it's almost like that we don't even have a common ground anymore. It's not the Constitution doesn't. They want to rewrite the Constitution. They think the Constitution is made up by racist and slave owners, so it should be done away with. It's like freaking totally two sides of the aisle. We're completely disconnected.
Yeah.
But
hey, Mike.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
All right, Kevin. Well.
Hey, hold on, Mike. Don't let Kevin go yet. Joe in Arizona wants to know if he wants to debate the issue on a three-way call, if you're good with that. If not, I understand.
What issue?
Just Trump and Biden.
I'll debate it. I'll debate it with Joe.
So no three-way call?
I'll debate it with Joe. I'll debate it with Joe.
All right, sounds
Hey,
good.
Kevin, it's good to hear from you, man. I hope things are cool where you are.
You got it. Hang it in there.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
And that's our buddy Kevin. I believe he's from Illinois. And Craig has another caller on the line who someone wants to debate something. I don't want to put Kevin on the spot to have to debate when he just called up to say hi. Hello, caller.
Hey, what's up, Mike? It's Arizona Joe. How are you?
Hey, Arizona Joe. I am good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I didn't want to debate. I just wanted to chime in and chat because I thought, you guys are bringing up some good, valid points and, some stuff to throw around. So I really wasn't wanting to debate.
Yeah, no, I did. I misunderstood. I thought that, I don't want to, I don't want to put people on the spot for no reason, So, yeah. But yeah, Joe, it's good to hear from you. How is the weather in Arizona?
Oh man, we're so it's been pretty nice last couple of days. 88 degrees yesterday.
Wow.
93 today.
That's like nice and cool in Arizona, right?
You know what, dude? It really has been pretty nice, and I like it hotter. I do not like cold. I even bitch down in the the weather in the wintertime here. So I got no right. I realize.
No, I know. I have friends from Hawaii, and when they come to here to Seattle, they cannot get warm. Like I can't get warm, man. This is horrible. I don't know how you live like this.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I'd love to go to Hawaii. I've never been there. I've never been to Florida. Man, I got to get out.
Well, if you like where you're at, that's a blessing, dude.
Well, I was on the West Coast. I've lived in California, up by you in Washington, and I don't know. I kind of like the western side of this country here. So, but with that being said, I just getting back to the Biden-Trump dynamic. I guess it's funny to see because Trump is really kind of this is a referendum. At least I feel. It's a referendum on his job performance. And now you've seen the twin towers of, the economy, number one, is collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
No longer do you hear everybody just, throwing out, well, man, everything's great. You should see my 401k.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now, you are seeing like a reflective, the Wall Street Dow Jones average is, it's cruising along, but that is bailout money. That's injecting kind of like a transfusion to a dead body. We've got a lot of systemic problems. And not only that, this did collapse our hospital system. We do have bodies piled up in morgues. This is not a joke, man. This is, we should be a nation of a country of M95 respirator style masks and gloves, and that's how we should be battling this virus, don't you think?
I'm really worried that the masks are going to make people sick, Joe.
Are you serious? What do you mean? You got to break me down. Help me understand that.
Well, if the masks are only meant to be used, once or maybe twice, and after that they begin to collect bacteria and stuff, and then you're just breathing that in and out, and the truth is nobody's, probably very few people are washing their masks. They're just wearing them day after day, and I'm really worried that they're going to get sick.
Well, that's a separate issue. Is we don't have enough equipment, right? So that we could rotate those things out. We've heard of Nightmare. I have a friend who's she is a contract nurse, and she went from Wisconsin out to New York and worked right there in the thick of it. And yeah, so they did not have enough respirators and stuff. And, you know, that's kind of the situation here. And this isn't like, it's just being portrayed as, you know, the billionaires are going to stay at home, man. They've got money. They need us schlubs to get out there and work and keep making their money for them too, because, you know, that was the problem with Barack Obama. And that's what brought us Trump, is all the Wall Street profits, 95% of them went to the top, you know, the upper echelon, the top 10%, you know, 1%, and especially the 0.1%.
Yeah.
And this portrayal, like he's so, you know, just like a people's man. Like, what a crock of horse shit, man.
Yeah.
And I agree with your assessment about Obama, by the way. That I thought you stated it well, because there is a dynamic that when so much we were so behind that guy.
He could have done anything. He could have said, we're going to do this. And the whole world would have gone, fuck yes! Oh my God!
Right.
You know, not just America, everybody around the world. And instead he just went, I'm going to be just like fucking George W. Bush. And everybody went, what? You know, and because of that, before he got reelected, millions of people went into the street around the world in what was now known as the Occupy Wall Street movement. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll tell you what, that was a big one for me too. And that was, you know, kind of like the uncapping of that putrid smell of the Obama administration. But I still voted for him twice when I got Mitt Romney's health care. You know, he took us from 2 wars to 7 wars. He got rid of habeas corpus. That translates to body of evidence.
Yeah, no.
He got rid of. He made the Bush tax cuts permanent. They were supposed to sunset. Barack Obama said, "Oh no, you don't. Before you get flushed down that sunset toilet, I'm going to reach out of there. I'm going to make you permanent." Because it's this. It is the fake right left fake dynamic.
Right.
You know, oh, I'm diametrically opposed to you because, you know, some fake reason. And
right.
But especially with the election, or with Joe Biden, you know, going to be probably the presumptive nominee of the Democratic Party, unless something. I mean, that dude could blow up in any second. Don't you feel, Mike?
He could start getting a fucking twitch in his fucking right eye, and it's just like. And then it leads to, you know, his neck, and it's pretty much done.
Yeah, another aneurysm.
Yeah,
but I mean,
there's something wrong with him. His brain hasn't worked properly, you know, for a long time, and he's fucking crooked as hell, man. This shit with his son, you know, I mean, all that fucking crap about the Ukraine and the firing of the prosecutor and shit. The guy is just fucking dirty, and the stuff that happened in the 80s and the 90s with the crime bill and shit like that, you know, I mean, it's just police state, and now we're supposed to believe that he wants to fucking legalize marijuana. When he started this campaign, he didn't want to legalize marijuana, but now he does all of a sudden.
Spot on, Mike. I'll tell you what, that, in fact, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is why Joe Biden's records are spirited away and at the, I don't know where, the University of Maryland, and, you know, you got to have Secret Service clearance, and, you know, I mean, that's a public record. It should be in a public domain, and we should be, you know, cruising through that horseshit record of his for damn near 50 years of being on the wrong side of every single issue.
The Iraq War, 1 million innocent Iraqis died. He could have stood up and been a voice to fucking say, no, we cannot have more war. We don't need more war. We have more important things to do with our very precious resources. And instead he fucking got on the whole thing with George W. Bush and helped George Bush march into Baghdad and murder 1 million innocent Iraqis based on lies. Go ahead, Joe.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Mike. And then not only that, look at, we saw all this talk last couple of years about refugees and fleeing refugees and going to Spain, Italy, Greece, everywhere but Libya, where they're now holding slave auctions.
Right.
Thanks to Hillary Clinton. We came, we saw, and we killed them with her crazy maniacal laugh. I mean, what a psycho.
Well, I mean, it's Barack Obama is the one that put her in that position. Barack Obama is the one that put Joe Biden in the vice presidential position. We should have seen immediately when he did that, there's something wrong here. When he put Joe Biden, he should have come into power and had all fucking new faces, and we're going to do this completely fucking different. Instead, it was just the same shit, different. Say hello to the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah, man, that's spot on again. But now here we go. Julian Assange. I don't know how your people out there feel about him, but that guy revealed some good stuff. And we saw how the Citibank, all the suggestions that came from the very, beginning of when candidate Barack Obama turned into president-elect, all the suggestions that came from Citibank were put forward. And Barack Obama, he campaigned as a progressive. He governed, and what he said at John McCain's funeral is that his policies were based on, they were very similar to an 80s style moderate Republican. So, for all this, the triangulation, it's still alive and well.
And I don't honestly, Joe, I don't think it would have been that moderate a Republican. I think it would have been a very conservative Republican. Go ahead.
You mean Obama?
Yeah, Obama. If you were going to compare him properly, it wouldn't have been a moderate Republican. It would have been. But, I mean, it's interesting that he compared himself that way. But the truth is, it's a very conservative Republican. From when? Did you say the 80s?
Yeah, that was, his statement. And by the way, that was him and John McCain that worked out the American Detention Act. The one that can throw you away, and they threw away the body of evidence, habeas corpus.
Yeah.
You can be convicted without a body of evidence. So that's kind of right wingy to do. It is very.
It's not. Look.
Taxes. No. Military taking us to war and military budgets, bailouts of Wall Street and fucking Main Street.
It's
all Republican-y stuff.
I don't. Look. The Democrats went right along with it and helped make it happen. So you can say it's all all Republican-y stuff, all right-wingy stuff. But the truth is, they couldn't have done it without the left wing there, right, going right along with them. Okay?
Yeah, because you have a Joe Biden style of Democrat that's out there. And
right. There is no left wing.
Half of the House is considered in the progressive caucus. So it's probably 45% of the House is considered progressive, but it's kind of a weak.
And Barack Obama was considered to be the most liberal president of all time by historians. So we're clear.
Well,
Joe.
I don't know about that. I mean,
by historians.
I got the Heritage Foundation's recommendation on a style of health care. It's Obamacare as we know it. It was Mitt Romney care.
And I'm pretty sure that fucking Sean Hannity refers to him as that, just like that on a regular basis. So.
But I mean, if you take a look at Johnson, I mean, the Great Society. You kind of look at FDR and the Social Security. Johnson on the Medicare Act. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's kind of definitely Hannity would put it that way. But, there's been a lot of other, even John F. Kennedy was pushing for like a universal payer health care. It goes way back. FDR was talking about it. Henry Wallace. You know who Henry Wallace is?
I know, I recognize the name, but I can't pull the information out of it.
He was the original Bernie.
Mm.
And so anyways, he's just a super compelling character from the past, and he ran for the Democratic nomination process, and he got totally Bernied. So they've been doing this for a long time.
It's a tradition.
Yeah, it is. It's very skanky. And but that's the DNC. This is Joe Biden. This is how the Clintons work. The Clinton Foundation works. It's how Obama is. He's probably busy flying kites with Richard Branson right now. He's not focusing on, what's going on. But at a time, the economy has collapsed. We do have massive unemployment. I heard 38 million on one, and then I heard 32 million on another report. And so I don't know, wherever it's at, it's bad. And but the other side of that is just because you open it up doesn't mean that people are going to come either. So people don't feel safe, and if people don't feel safe, walking around mouth breathing aerosolized sputum casters, it's probably the dumbest thing we could do is just say, you know what? What's so bad? You want to make some money, get the economy going? Wear a fucking face mask, put some gloves on, get some goddamn disinfectant going on around here. Make people feel safe, because until that happens, it ain't going to happen. And if the Pentagon has a leaked report that says the next New Year's Eve that we are going to experience, that we are, there could be 300,000 dead by their projections. So, again, this is, there's a lot of different angles to this. And, what reason would the Pentagon ever want to release something like that or have to talk about something like that? They're in the business. They just like going and opening up new military bases.
I don't know what the fuck the Secretary of Defense is doing at the press conferences, answering questions about a vaccine, a COVID-19 vaccine, but I've seen it multiple times now, and that just doesn't give me any more confidence than anything I've ever heard about vaccine. Yeah, the military's involved. Okay, good. They're the ones who are going to be fucking distributing this vaccine. You watch.
Yeah, people don't feel good about vaccines because it's, that's why we've got to be a nation of a lot of equipment, 15-minute testing, seriously, and by the way, I just was listening to, she's a technical science writer. She's a Pulitzer-winning science technical writer. And she, the last book she wrote was in 2018, and it's called The Coming Pandemic. And she said that this thing is 3 years minimum, with all the dicking around and trying this and trying everything wrong, basically, first. And then seeing the waves and waves that keep coming back. And when you look at this roadmap and like we're into our fourth bailout now, fifth, I don't know. You tell me, but it's not being handled well. The money is not getting to a downstream place. I mean, Main Street is they're hurting.
Yeah.
You got 50% of this country that's ready to close down, and you've got a bunch of people that aren't confident about going around and breathing people's sputum.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about the people, Joe. That's clear. If they really cared about the people, if they really cared about the people's businesses that they've worked their whole lives to fucking build, the first thing they would have done is they would have said we're having an immediate rent and mortgage moratorium. No one is required to pay rent, and and it's frozen until this is over, and then we'll pick up at the end, and it'll be just like it was. We'll pick up where we left off. However much you owed when we started, that's how much you owe now.
that's kind of what's going on here, anyways, too. Because
no,
for everybody, there's a
the only reason people are losing businesses is because they can't fucking afford to keep their business alive. They can't afford to pay the mortgage.
Well, absolutely, and I mean, we're just coming out of a time, pre-COVID. It's the highest real estate prices ever in the history of man. It's the most leveraged out corporate debt.
Yeah.
It's the most leveraged out consumer debt. Credit card debt is bigger than it was in 2008. Loans, banks are bigger now than they were in 2008. They're more concentrated. So, this is what a tangled web we weave, and that's the risk that's out there in the market. So when we do have something, and this is the point I was going to get to see if you agree with me, is that this is going to be a confidence thing that we have to deliver to people. Everybody. Wall Street's been bailed out. That's how you see the Dow Jones going up. Main Street is still left ass out, and this is going to be a realignment of the way that we have to do healthcare, the way that none of these old systems will work. And when we do shitty bailouts, we don't know if we're bailing out old shitty systems that should have got flushed down the toilet. But when we get a guy like Joe Biden in there who says, "Hey, billionaires," and he was speaking to a big-time billionaire donor, and he said nothing's going to fundamentally change underneath my administration. Meaning, just get ready. It's going to be trickle-down economics, and Donald Trump is definitely trickle-down economics. I mean, he'll switch you up on trade, and I applaud him for that. But I mean, like immigration and the wall, man, that's cheap. Those are cheap antics, We got, and where's Trump care, by the way? Where's Trump care during a pandemic?
Yeah.
What is that? It didn't happen.
I hear you.
Problematic.
I hear you. I mean, this is a big I've always said, that the healthcare is a matter of national security, dude, and all it takes is something like this to show us, because I mean, you see the fucking National Guard, they're the ones out there giving the test, they're the ones setting up the field hospitals. I'm telling you, healthcare is a matter of national security, and anybody who says anything else, healthcare is for the rich or the people who can afford it, that's just stupid and really short-sighted.
Damn straight, Mike. Hey, the other thing is, get this, and you probably heard of this before I did, man, all the news you cover, but the Pentagon is not accepting recruits if they have tested positive for the COVID.
It's a little bit. Let me make it a little bit clearer than that. If you have tested positive for COVID-19, you are permanently banned from participating in the U.S. military. Permanently banned. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize if it was temporary for right now, kind of like a holding pattern, but I'll go with you on that because it was like, when I read it, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And that's why we must give ourselves pause. And it's not convenient to take that stance, especially when you're trying to downplay. We're trying to downplay these numbers everywhere just to fake people out. But, at the end of the day, man, right now, the way I heard it today was we've got 1.5 million active cases of COVID. So you divide that by 50 states, there is somebody, breathing aerosolized COVID at you, somewhere near you. We don't know. That's why we need to be a nation of face masks and protective gear until this thing goes away, and we can't.
Well, so then everybody has to get tested, and everybody has to get the vaccine too, right?
Spot on, absolutely.
Fuck you.
I know, man. It's a rough.
I hate fucking for-profit medicine. You will not get me participating. Okay, they are evil, and they have an alternative agenda, and I'm pretty sure that they had a lot to do with my mom dying. So, you know.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, I'm an orphan too. But with, you know, I mean, you put your not only your finger, your whole hand on it and grabbed it. It's for-profit healthcare, for-profit politics, for-profit politicians, and this is what we get. And by the way, and this is part of the scam of Donald Trump, and why, you know, how this guy's blowing it, and he's making Joe Biden a viable candidate. Nobody would want Joe Biden if Donald Trump weren't totally fucking every single thing up right now.
Nobody wants Joe Biden. I mean, it's just it's like with Donald Trump, dude. Nobody wanted Donald Trump. It's just you look at everybody else. You look at fucking Jeb Bush. You look at fucking Marco Rubio. There are fucking lying garbage. You look at Hillary Clinton, one of the most despised figures in American political history. I guess I'm voting for Donald Trump. Nobody fucking wanted Donald Trump. It's just there wasn't an alternative.
Yeah, I agree with that. But wasn't it a pleasure, Cruz, watching Donald Trump dismiss 17 moronic Republican just idiots right off of that debate stage? That guy, he handled them like a boss, and that was kind of a pleasure to see. Number one, but you know, we pay the price now for a guy who really is much better at dealing with media and presenting himself, and you know, just always having a narrative. And I mean, it's how he got all that airtime. They had, you know, they were covering podiums, empty podiums, waiting for Donald to show up, rather than cover, you know, other candidates that were giving live speeches at that time where they could have just did a simple cutaway. They're like, oh, hell no, man. We're going to wait it out. Donald Trump's going to be here in a half an hour. We'll just stare the cameras at an empty podium. And, but I mean, you know, the guy had the chance of a lifetime. Now, he equally could have been a Barack Obama. He could have been so transformative. He did transform the Republican Party into, this is Trump's party, you know. Now we got the weird kind of disaffected never-Trumper, the Rick Wilson, the, you know, show up looking like Joe Scarborough, you know, all these just Comcast chumps, Nicole Wallace, and
I could never give Donald Trump support. You know, I mean, I don't understand how anybody could give Donald Trump support, except for the fact when you look at all the other options, then it becomes understandable why people give Donald Trump support. So.
Yeah, and that's true, because you get down that long list of bad candidates. Same thing with the Democratic Party. I mean, like when I went through all those candidates and like, oh my God, what a cast of like meaningless, no platform, minus Bernie. I mean, I'm a Bernie guy from the word go. I just want Medicare for all. I want, you know, all the stuff that Wall Street can't handle, but they own right now.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, elder care, communities, Wall Street stranglehold on our school systems. You know, our healthcare system, especially our hospitals, you name it, man. But at the end of the day, you know, when I look at the Democrats that were up there, and you know, and now you see like Amy Klobuchar, oh my God, at the top being vetted, Kamala Harris. Oh, what a horrid pile of politics that show turned out to be, and has been for years and years and years.
Both of them are disgusting. Both of them are disgusting. Kamala Harris and Amy Klobuchar. Stop fucking voting for cops, okay? Because Amy Klobuchar and Kamala Harris are both dirty fucking cops. The dirtiest kind of cops. The kind of cops that drop fucking drugs or a gun or whatever kind of evidence they have to drop in order to get a fucking bust on somebody they don't like. That's how dirty they are. don't ever fucking vote for cops. And don't ever fucking vote for prosecutors, DAs, none of that bullshit. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're spot on, Mike. And, you know, and you bring up a great point because Kamala Harris, I was reading articles on her fighting in court against cops, like, having to use body cams.
Yeah.
And, like, for them to, like, just have discretion, like, well, you know, if they feel like poking the button or they don't, you know, I don't know. But, you know, we just don't want to make that mandatory. It's like, get out of here, Kamala Harris. You know, there is a problem
Cops should have to wear body cameras 24/7, 365 days a year.
Yep.
And no off button. Boom.
We should see all negotiate. We should be doing publicly financed elections, and if they are for profit by private, you know, for profit lobbyists and for profit politicians, we should be televising all the negotiations as well.
Yeah.
Because we the people. We the people are the government.
Yeah,
okay?
I agree.
A lot of people always forget that. Yeah, they think it's like, oh God, I don't need, you know, it's just like everything's like the DMV. It's just like some, you know, weird place, you know, bad lighting and, you know, yeah. Anyway,
bunch of fucking bureaucrats, you know.
Yeah, but we the people are government, but we've been taken hostage by privateers and fake capitalism and fake capitalists who are right now flush with cash because these fake capitalists took a bunch of government welfare handout money in the form of bailouts. And now we've just injected blood transfusion to the corpse. So now we will have to wait this out until capitalism can kick back in or some kind of free market. There isn't such a thing as a free market. There are no free markets anywhere. None. So, but for the slightest semblance of what that would be, we got to process through all this bailout money before we get down to figure out, you know, and we're probably going to see a constriction in the economy of massive privatization. You know, half of the Wall Street, there was, from 2008 until now, there was half as many companies listed on there because so many people and all the money printing we're doing and all the access to 0% cheap money allow these people to go to, you know, if they're got a connection to one of the 23 entities that have a spot at the Fed discount window, went and got 0% money and bought their companies back, did stock buybacks, and that's what's going on now. And, you know, and that's where Trump is totally blowing it because, you know, it's a bonanza once again, like Barack Obama did. Almost 95% of all that profits went to the wealthy. So the same thing is happening under Trump. But the thing about Trump and Republicans, these guys, they don't lie to you, man. They tell you we're going to the map for a $1.9 trillion tax cut, and 83% of it's going to the wealthiest Americans. We're not even going to lie to you, you know. But it's just like housed under some basic. Yeah, we passed tax cuts. Well, what kind? Well, we're not going to talk about that. That's a different subject for a different time. But you know, the reality is they didn't lie to you. They said they were going to do it. They said they're going to cut regulations, not the right kind. It's always in pollution and EPA and dirtying up the water and you know, you socialize the pollution and privatize the gains and the profits. And that's the same thing that Trump is doing. Barack Obama did a lot of it. We're still outsourcing jobs. You know, while talking about bringing them back here. So, you know, if this pandemic, and I'll wind this down on this, if this pandemic teaches us anything, I think it's the fact that we can recreate our way out of this, but we're going to have to hack a bunch of Klingon people who own the system right now. That's why they want you to get back to work and, you know, not be able to sue your company if they put you in a risky situation where you got a mouth-breathing COVID, aerosolized mouth-breathing human carcass next to you. They don't care. Like you said, Mox, they do not care. So, yeah, we can recreate ourselves out of this, but we are going to have the fight that we would have had anyways, to the people who have the wealth-producing assets, they're going to have to give up some of that stuff. And we can't see a constriction in the market just because there's so few people that had, money even in a savings account. They said what? The Fed came out and said that 40% of this country doesn't have $500 in the bank.
Yeah.
Dude, you can't roll that way, man. This is how you gotta have money in your pocket, man. That's how the deal works.
Yeah, no, people who don't have money in their pocket become very desperate, and people who are desperate do very stupid things.
Yeah, spot on, man. Well, hey, buddy, I'm going to get out of your hair, and appreciate you hanging out with me, and I'll just...
Right on, Joe. It's good to hear from you. I'm glad to hear you're staying strong, and things are going well where you're at. We'll get through it, man.
Back at you, Moxer. Peace.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye. That's Joe from Arizona, and I am gonna play this video for you because this is an important video that you need to see.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
All right. Because like I said, that's a very important video. You guys do not want to forget that, especially over a 3-day weekend. Forever 3-day weekend. Woo! What's up, caller?
Hey, Moxie!
Hey, who's this?
You remember me?
Who is it?
Dom.
Hey, Dom. How's it going, bro?
Dom 57.
Cool.
No. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. What's up with you?
Good. No, I was just calling in because I came to this awakening today. And I figured out what 17 was.
Okay.
17Q.
Okay.
In 1717, the Freemasons were reincarnated.
Oh.
Is that a little too deep, Moxie?
I don't know. I have no idea where you're going with this.
No. I'm just calling to say hello. And, you for that $1 million check that your father put in front of you, and you didn't want, and since 2 days ago that I talked to you, 1717 was the year that the Freemasons were reincarnated.
Okay.
And I know it sounds a little dummy, Moxie. But anyway, that's just my interpretation. The 1717 Freemasons were reincarnated, and it was the Scottish Rite.
Right.
And Trump is Scottish.
Huh.
And now he's president of the United States.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Look. You guys and your riddles and your numbers and stuff, you know, I love numbers as much as any scientist, but I don't the riddle.
No. That's just my interpretation of my knowledge that I've learned in the last little while. It's just me putting it by you and thinking, what do you think of this interpretation?
It's great. It's brilliant.
No, but it doesn't make sense.
Like I said, it does make sense. You draw all the numbers, okay? I mean, you draw all the lines right there. So, but these Chinese fucking puzzles that you people draw, you know.
No. Come on now, Moxie. You sound like a Freemason talking that way.
Yeah, I suppose I look just like one too.
No. Anyway, that's just, like there's so many things happening that I look at all the different angles of it, right? And we in the last couple of years, Q has been big. And Q was 17.
Uh-huh.
And in 1717, the Freemasons were reincarnated.
Right, we've been over this.
Yeah, so that's just the way I'm trying to angle it now, right? You know what I mean? And there's the Scottish that reincarnated the Freemasons in 1717.
Right, we went over
now,
this.
Trump is Scottish.
Right, we've been over this.
A little too deep, eh? But Trump is Scottish, and he's from a long lineage of family of bloodline. And this seems to me, in my little mind, that maybe Trump is the answer to the Freemasons. He's the leader of the Freemasons.
Yeah,
that's a little too far, right? Like,
Well, if you look at Trump and his, the history of Trump, I mean, I don't think that the Freemasons are gonna put some frat boy wannabe douchebag born with a golden spoon.
Oh, not at all, Moxie.
Yeah.
Trump has been groomed. Trump has been groomed for this minute.
Yeah.
Like Trudeau in Canada, right?
Yeah. Well, Trudeau was born into that shit. Like he actually, right, his dad was prime minister or whatever, right?
Yeah, but Trudeau was a Canadian guy, the British guy, the first British to go to Antarctica.
Uh-huh.
Trudeau's lineage was the first one to go to Antarctica for the British.
Cool.
Was, what was his name? Captain Trudeau or something like that. But anyway, I'm just talking about lineages and where we are now, right? And Trump and Trudeau. It's like the yin and the yang, right?
I don't know. I think they're all pretty much the same, dude.
100%.
Yeah.
And then
so that's not yin and yang, is it? The same isn't really yin and yang.
Well, yes, it is, because if you look at Trump and you look at Trudeau, that's the yin and the yang.
Yeah, I get it. It's just I like to put it this way. It's just they're the same people. They're just talking to different suckers.
No. I think it's deeper than that, Moxie.
I don't think so. Well, I like to keep it a little bit simple.
Well, you heard about the book, the Trump. What was that? The old book. Anyway, the Trumps and Trudeaus have been in our society and leaders and kings and queens of our societies for probably since the last ice age, since 1717.
Huh.
The last ice age was in the late 1600s. And since the late 1600s, Trumps and Trudeau's have always been in the forefront.
Huh.
So now we find ourselves with President Trump and Prime Minister Trudeau. So I feel like it's a representation of the Freemasons. And I know your father's a Freemason, and I'm not sure if you're not a Freemason or not, but that's just the way I interpret it.
I don't know anything about the Freemasons other than that my dad was a Freemason. Okay.
Yeah, but he was probably high school, right? He was probably 27th degree or something like that.
No, he was a 32nd degree.
And Trudeau,
he was a 32nd degree Mason.
Yo, your father was 32nd?
Yeah.
Well, he's only one away from 33.
Right.
And then Trudeau is probably up around 33, 32 too. Trump is, I believe Trump is 33.
Oh, maybe.
Well, I don't know, Moxie. Anyway, I like that blunt you blew off there a little while ago.
Right on. I had a fatty there a minute ago for sure.
And you got high on it, eh?
Very well, of course. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like permafry, so I'm kind of always like just kind of even.
Yeah, but you're not, Moxie. You're more alive than most people. You know something? You know what gets you into that permafry?
Mm-hmm.
Is getting away from the bullshit.
Yeah.
Because we live in so much bullshit, I smoke a joint and drink whiskey to get away from it, right?
Mm.
And the thing about it is that you know the reality. I know the reality. I smoke a joint to get away from reality because there's big things happening around us. But
yeah,
we are in the moment of awakening. And I know that sounds repetitive. But
well, I smoke a joint. I don't smoke joints, but when I smoke weed, it's a medicinal thing. But it's mostly so that I can deal with reality, so that I can stand up, so that I can stand up and I can move forward boldly, regardless of what the reality is telling me I should shelter in place or not. I don't need.
Yeah, but
I'm an adult. I can figure it out for myself.
You know the reality, Moxie. That's why you smoke a joint, because there's no control over reality. Reality is mumbo jumbo, but you smoke a joint and you sit in your reality. I think that's beautiful. I think to me you're a warrior, right? There's no other way to deal with it but sit and smoke a joint.
I used to, when I first started doing YouTube videos, 16, 17 years ago, I used to put,
Craig was telling me.
I used to put in all the tags, I used to put pot brownies, right? And people used to get so mad at me. They'd be like, why does it say pot brownies in the tags of your videos? I said, it's a
and why you got them cuties up there dancing?
It's a suggestion. I said, it's a suggestion. Because you're gonna get through this much better if you had a pot brownie before you watch these videos.
Yeah. But now we understand it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Moxie, man, you know the truth, and you try to disguise it with your joint, and I try to disguise it with my whiskey, and we try to deal with the reality of the bullshit as much as we can.
Well,
but the truth is that we deal with reality in our way. Most people are like sheeple. They walk into the guillotine, right? But you and I won't. That's why we smoke a joint. That's why we drink whiskey. That's why we know the difference between reality and bullshit. That's my interpretation, Moxie. You know, like we know, there's no way for you and I to deal with reality because we seek the truth. We seek reality, and there's no reality. So the best thing to do is to sit down and smoke a joint. That's my interpretation.
Well,
Anyway.
I keep telling people that's some of the best advice I can give you. You know, is you're not eating
You
enough.
what?
You're not eating enough marijuana.
You're not far away enough. You're not far away. You're not far away enough from a lie.
Yeah.
Anyway, Moxie, I just called in and say hello, brother. And
right on.
My interpretation. Can I give you one last thing? Can I give you a boom?
Yeah. What do you got?
17 equals 1717, which equals the Scottish Rite, which equals Freemason, which equals Trump, which equals now.
Okay.
Trump is the original Q. 17 is Q. 1717, the Freemasons reincarnated themselves after the Ice Age. And now they're here.
Okay, Dom. Okay, Dom. It's good to hear from you, man. I hope you have a nice weekend.
You too, brother.
All right.
Love it.
All right, stay cool. That's our buddy Dom from the Great White North. It's always, I love that accent. That accent just blows me away. Every time I start hearing him talking, all I can think is that I'm talking to one of the Trailer Park Boys. Every time. I'm trying to figure out which one it is. All right. So I have, let's see. I have this video. I'm going to play it for you because I think it's important and it goes right along with what I have on the screen now.
Israeli hospital to begin treating coronavirus patients with cannabis by Deborah Danan on April 25, 2020. Tel Aviv, an Israeli hospital will begin testing COVID-19 patients with medicinal cannabis, which is known to have antiviral properties, as part of a new experimental treatment. Researchers are investigating cannabidiol, the non-psychoactive component of cannabis also known as CBD, can slow down the spread of the virus and stop moderate patients from turning critical. Dozens of COVID-19 patients in moderate condition at Ichilov Medical Center in Tel Aviv are expected to be treated. Barak Cohen, a senior anesthesiologist who is in charge of managing the hospital's coronavirus response, stressed the treatment would alleviate symptoms by using a component of the cannabis plant that is considered safe and non-addictive. Separately, researchers at Tel Aviv University have begun developing a CBD-based drug that has been shown to be effective against inflammation for coronavirus-infected lung cells. The Technion Institute of Technology in Haifa is also working to develop two complementary drugs based on various cannabis strains to fight the virus. The first will attempt to reduce the patient's immune response while the second aims to slow down the course of the disease by lowering the expression of the receptor, a protein that allows the virus to receive and release substances outside of the cell. Our lab has been approved to operate as a coronavirus lab, and we are currently promoting two studies based on existing cannabis studies, Professor Dudi Meri, who is leading the Technion's team, told Calculist. First, we will try to identify the plant's immune cells that are capable of suppressing the immune response to the coronavirus, which causes inflammation and disease. Cannabis plant molecules have the ability to lower the immune system response without suppressing it entirely, thereby providing better complementary treatment than steroids, which completely suppress the immune system. The second study, Meri, will be conducted on the receptor which allows the virus to inject its genetic expression into human cells and proliferate. There is a process that examines the effect of cannabis molecules on proteins as well, he explained. We are now examining which ones are relevant to the same receptor, with the goal of lowering its expression, making it difficult for the virus to enter the cell and proliferate.
All right, so I think it's important to recognize what is out there that actually can be of benefit. Hello, caller. Hello.
Michael.
Pete.
What's up, you handsome motherfucker?
Hey, Pete. How's it going, bro?
Dude, my new favorite cocktail is the Mai Tai.
Now,
fantastic.
You're doing that with 151 rum?
No, I don't use 151. I don't use aged Jamaican rum. I go 1 ounce of dark, 1 ounce of light.
What kind of dark are you using?
I'm using Gosling's Caribbean, Bermuda dark rum, and some classic Bacardi Light Puerto Rican for the white rum. Ooh, and that fucking Fee Brothers Orgeat. God damn, son. That's a good cocktail.
Have you tried it? Have you tried it with the 151?
No, well, I have tried it with like some rum agricole and some aged Jamaican rum, which is a little bit stronger. But I feel like 151 may be a little too much for me. I don't know. I'm liking it with the 40% rums.
Yeah, good. Yeah, no, a man has got to know his limitations. That 151 shit will make you see God, man. We used to drink that shit when I was in high school. We drink 151 and Dr. Pepper. Oh my God.
Oh, shit.
Tell you what. Oh, shit
Dr.
is right.
Pepper seems like it would go really well with some
it was fucking 151 and Dr. Pepper, man. That shit will get you there.
Dude, someone had a fantastic comment. I don't know who it was, but someone asked, when did Mike graduate from Hogwarts? You fucking haggard ass looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
That was really funny, man. That made me laugh.
It's weird, I get that. It was so weird. Somebody said something about Star Wars the other. Stop trying to look like some Star Wars character. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay. I'll do that right away.
Bro. Oh, god damn. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Thanks very much for the contribution. It's been really slow, so it's very nice of you. Thanks very much.
Yeah, all you fucking cheap cunts out there, would you donate to Mike, you fucking assholes?
Well, you know what? They're all.
The man only bends over backwards to give us valuable information
here
and provide these fantastic news stories to us, by the way, which I thank you for, Michael.
I'm really just trying to give you guys a voice. That's what Mox News has always been about.
God bless. How was the past few days been? I'm not going to talk about it because I was told not to and I won't. But Mike was, or Craig was letting me know about all the drama going on in the scenes.
I don't know. Look, I don't know what all the drama is that's going on. All I know is that Wilco seems to be out, and I don't know. And I mean, Wilco has been around forever, and if Wilco is out, there's a problem. So I don't know what it's all about, and I don't know. It's the holiday weekend. I don't even know if I want to deal with it. I don't even want to think about it. I just want to fucking grow some weed, man. That's all I want to do.
Right on, bro. Some autoflowers.
Are you going out? Are you going out this weekend? Or you have plans?
I'm going to go out. You goddamn right I'm going to go out. It's going to rain tomorrow over here, but Sunday is going to be in like the mid-60s and shit, so you bet your ass I'll be out there.
Right on. Is there
wood, son. I'll be whistling at them ladies.
You're not close to the ocean? You don't have beach near you?
Well, it's Rhode Island, bro. It's the ocean state, so you're always fucking 20 minutes away from the ocean.
Oh, right on. Is there a place that you'd like to go?
We're not allowed to go to the beaches right now, Mike. We're like, there's 3 states where the beaches aren't open, and we're fucking one of them. But I mean, the whole fucking state is islands and beaches. So I mean, you can fucking find a spot to camp out.
Yeah.
They're not gonna fucking be able to stop you.
Well, that's pretty lame, dude. I mean, the islands and beaches sound awesome, but the whole thing being closed down for the weekend, that's pretty stupid. You're gonna have a problem.
Bro, Rhode Island in the summer is like a fucking paradise. It's fucking awesome, man.
Right on. I had no idea.
Check out Rhode Island in the summer, people. Check out Newport, Narragansett, all these fine islands and beaches we got down here. It's an overlooked staple of America in New England.
Right on. I'll have to check it out. Well, I don't actually travel, but it sounds like a nice spot to spend a weekend.
Fuck yeah, bro. Hey, I wanted to comment on the Joe Biden story you had.
Yeah.
Old Jive Talking Joe.
Right.
Oh boy, this guy is just a continuing fountain of entertainment.
Talk about a train wreck, man.
Dude, Jive Talking Joe. He's like, if you ain't black, then you ain't voting for me. There is nothing that black people hate more than a fucking jive talking old white guy in a fucking suit.
He is.
I don't know what the fuck was he thinking.
He doesn't think. His brain doesn't work right, dude. His
brain, it doesn't work. It really is mush. His brain, he's a delusional old man fucking brain.
Yeah.
Trump's gonna mop the floor with this guy.
I think so.
People in the comments, I don't know if they're trolling or not. They probably are. But they're actually talking about, vote for Biden and he's never gonna fucking win. Trump's gonna mop the floor with this fucking mook.
I don't know how in the hell people look. The day Biden announced, I made a video. This is just stupid. Biden needs, and I said on that day, Biden needs to go far away, because if the Democratic Party puts this guy forward, the everybody's gonna look at the Democratic Party and go, this is the best you have to offer? Are you fucking kidding me?
Dude, they lost all their integrity a long time ago, so no one's really surprised by that. But what I did think was interesting when he was talking about, in that video that you played, he was talking about how we can't let the big banks write their own rules and all this shit. But yet, he's letting big banks decide who's going to be on his fucking cabinet. Like, he's going to these same banker cunts. They're like, who should I put on my financial advisory fucking team? He's such a fucking worm, this guy. Typical politician fucking worm.
Yeah, he's nothing but a career politician. That's it. Put your finger in the air, see where the wind blows, and that's where I stand over there.
Yeah, that was, god damn, it was hard to watch, man. Jesus. Hey, in the comments, Whisper Doctor, aka Steve McClanahan, aka Matthew, was talking about how he lost his job. Bro, don't worry about, if you lose your job right now, that's like the best thing that can happen. Because not only do you get the unemployment insurance, right? You get 2/3 of what your fucking paycheck was. But because of the coronavirus situation, the government's also giving you $600 a week on top of your unemployment insurance. So it's actually, if you're a minimum wage worker right now, it's better to get fired and just collect the fucking benefits. In fact, there's a lot of people at my work, like my work's struggling right now, because a lot of people are like, I can't work, I got an emergency, I got a failure, and then they get laid off, and then they just collect all the fucking, so like all the line workers and shit where I work, they're gone.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, there's very little incentive to work for low wage people right now. It's better to just get fired and sit back and fucking get those Trump bucks. How fucking sad is that?
Well, $600 a week sounds pretty sweet to a lot of people, especially if you're making minimum wage, you know?
Yeah, but you know what this is doing, Mike, is it's crushing small business. All these coronavirus measures, you know, the big companies and shit, you know, they can steal all the little business bailout relief, you know, they stole most of that or the first time around. And you know, the little companies aren't getting enough fucking help, dude, and all that's going to be left after this is fucking Walmart and fucking, you know, it's ridiculous.
Well, that is the really big concern, Pete, is that the small businesses how are they supposed to make it through, you know, a year of plague, you know?
I don't feel like they're getting the help that they need. There's a lot of businesses.
They're not getting the help that they need. They're not coming close to getting the help that they need.
Yeah. It's not right, bro. Not right. Yeah. I don't know. I guess that's all I have to say. I really have shit to say. This Mai Tai is fucking delicious. God damn it, I gotta pour another one.
Right on. So how did the last batch of gummies turn out?
Good as always, bro. Good as always.
Excellent. No, I remember you cooking. You showing us you were cooking it and stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, mason jar method, people. Go with it. The way to go. My fucking landlord actually. I call my landlord because my fridge is like not like the fan on my fridge is broken.
Huh.
It's really loud, like it wakes me up at night.
Oh, lame.
The fan is so loud. So I called my landlord. I was like, bro, you got to come by this week to fix this shit. And he's not getting back to me. And then the day that I'm actually making my infusions, he calls me. He's like, yeah, I'm going to show up and fix the fridge. All right. He didn't even say anything. He didn't even notice.
Well,
I had a jar of boiling infusion on my stove. He didn't even smell it. He didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. He didn't even ask me questions.
See, you put a plant in the closet with a fucking carbon filter and you're good, Pete.
Yeah, honestly, I could murder somebody and I don't think they would evict me.
Oh, that's really good. I mean, not that that's a consideration that you go first to, but you know.
Very reliable tenant, Mike. Very reliable.
That's good. It sounds like you know the landlord does, you know, you call him and say, hey, I got a problem, and then he comes over and takes care of it. That's pretty good too, right?
Well, it takes him like a fucking week, and then I gotta email or text him twice, like, hey, are you gonna go? Oh, yeah, sorry, bro.
Sounds like you could use a few of your gummies.
No, he's already forgetful. He doesn't fucking need any more.
The gummies don't make you forgetful, dude.
Oh, sure they do.
Nah, nope.
I mean, that's a minor, you know, setback. You know, I mean, it can't be all pros. There's some minor cons, but it's overwhelmingly pros. You know what I'm saying? Hey, dude, you know what? You were talking about Trump actually wearing a mask. And dude, we cannot have our fearless leader on the media wearing a mask. We can't have this, Mike, because all this does is what it does is subconsciously it demonstrates weakness. And we cannot have the leader of this fine country displaying any signs of weakness. This man must be portrayed as an invincible cult of personality, if you will.
Second coming.
So that's why, that's why he's not wearing the mask as little as he can. He wants the perception that he's strong. He was talking about Sweden, and he was talking about how in Sweden they have what their mitigation strategy in Sweden is the herd. So they're going with the herd. It's like, it's the fucking herd immunity, you fucking idiot. Learn the proper term. It's the herd.
Yeah. His brain works a little weird too.
Bush with his fucking dumb comments.
Yeah, his brain works kind of strange too. But yeah, no, the thing he says the video that I showed him talking about how he's not wearing a mask now because he's not going to wear a mask on camera, but that he was wearing a mask behind. It's just like, you know what, you have to be consistent. Should people be wearing a mask or shouldn't people be wearing a mask? And the truth is, if he should be wearing a mask, maybe he shouldn't be out in fucking public. Maybe he shouldn't be going to tours if he's the most important guy in the world. And where the fuck is the Secret Service? It's all a bunch of fucking theater, Pete.
Well, Trump seems to be very anti-mask, I mean, not only has he not worn them, but he's even saying that, like, he's not gonna, like, shut the country back down if, like, if the virus, like, has a second, spike. And,
yeah.
So he doesn't really seem like he gives a fuck, which maybe is good.
Look, this, I saw a video today of Anthony Fauci saying that that they picked the wrong the shelter-in-place strategy is the wrong strategy, and that they shouldn't have gone with that in the first place. It's fucking...
Yeah, that's why it's so hard being a so-called expert in a situation like this, where it's a fucking virus, where we don't understand how it fucking operates. We don't know anything about this. So you may propose a strategy initially and then collect some data and find out that maybe your strategy wasn't perhaps,
I don't, Pete, I don't mind him being wrong about stuff. It's just the fake shit where it's like, where it's like the death counts and stuff, how everything is a COVID-19 death, the lying. It's the lying that I can't take. It's the, hyping up of the fear. This shit where everybody has to wear a mask now when they leave the house. Originally it was don't wear a mask, and now today I think Fauci was saying that a mask might not be the best idea. So it's so fucking bullshit, and it's like confusing the people, and it's all just giving them, like, making them more afraid. And that's what it is. That's what the whole thing is. Fear. And I'm just so tired of the fear. Just live your life. You do what you feel like you gotta do, and these people...
The virus is not as deadly or potentially dangerous as they thought. So that's at least good. But, yeah, I mean... I'm the same thing. Like, people consider me an expert at my work, and they're like, Pete, what do we do right now? I'm like, I don't know what to do. There's really not a lot of data. I can give you my scientific suggestion.
You say you're not eating enough marijuana. How many fucking times do I have to tell you people you're not eating enough marijuana?
I am the one person you can't say that to.
No, that's what you should be saying to people when they say, Pete, what is it we need to do? You say, how many fucking times do I gotta tell you?
Well, you're right, but maybe that's what Fauci needs to do, is go on fucking news and be like, I need to fucking smoke a joint and eat some gummies and shut the fuck up. I'm doing my best, asshole. It's not easy being an expert, especially we don't know fucking shit about this virus. How the fuck are you gonna advise on?
I think I've been doing an excellent job of advising people right from the beginning, Pete.
Yeah, well, Fauci seems like he's the kind of guy who trusts the government and trusts the officials, which we all know is stupid to do. So, I don't know.
All right, bro. Well, are you, did you eat up all that jerky?
Dude, I did, and I gotta tell you, I've been thinking about buying some more, because that was some of the best jerky I've ever had in my fucking life.
Yeah, I wish I had a bag of it. I told Craig, I said, call that guy, tell him I want more jerky.
You had fucking bags and bags and bags of it. You ate it all already?
I ate the beef ones. There was 2 bags of beef. I ate the beef ones, and I gave the rest of it to Craig.
It's really good, man. That beef, I got the beef brisket, And I got the beef brisket teriyaki and the beef brisket, what was it? Sweet and spicy.
Nice.
The sweet and spicy was fucking unreal, dude.
Lucky.
I might even have to fucking order some more of that shit. It was unbelievable.
Hey guys, that lamb was really good, and those sugar-coated pineapples were amazing. The salmon's a little salty, but oh my god, if you like Pacific Northwest salmon, highly recommend the salmon jerky as well.
But he loved the lamb. I can tell you for a fact. He was like, oh my god, this fucking lamb is so good. So, you got a link for that, Craig?
House of Jerky. Shout out Mike Linebeck. They know their fucking jerky.
Yeah, be sure and tell me, your Mox News Ninja. All right, hey, Pete, I hope you have an excellent weekend, dude.
Dude, I hope you have an excellent weekend. You know,
I'm just focused on.
Don't touch your balls. Don't touch your dick.
Hey, you know, don't knock masturbation. It's sex with someone I love.
Yeah, man, fucking keep on rocking in the free world and fucking praise Allah. And god damn, these Mai Tais are fucking good.
Right on, Pete. Well, good to hear from you, bro. Talk to you soon.
Oh.
See ya. And that's our buddy Pete from Rhode Island. Did he say it was the ocean state? I don't know what he said. But that sounds like a nice place to spend a weekend for sure. And I hope you guys have a nice place to spend the weekend. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. We do this every Monday through Friday. But I think we're going to do a clip show on Monday. Craig's putting together something for the Mox News Ninjas that are around on Monday and looking for something. I'm going to focus the next 3 days on gardening. That's what gardening, that's it. Okay? So you know, if you're wondering. So, we'll be back on Tuesday. Or actually, like I said, Craig will have a clip show for you on Monday. We'll stream that live. But until then, I'll be back on Tuesday and every Monday through Friday. So I hope we see you there, because it's always better when you're here. In fact, it would be completely meaningless without you. So be sure and hit the subscription button and the notification button and all that stuff in case you're not already. And remember, one of these days, this war is going to end. Stay cool until that day.
Are going to start on 10 and count backwards, and you can do it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. What time is it? All right. Cool. Man, I can't tell you how long we've been looking forward to looking back on this time. Okay. What time is it? 4:20. I want to remind you of a couple quick things that I have a responsibility to talk to you about. And do we have? We need a fire extinguisher or something. I don't know what's going on. I want to tell you that we passed I-75 last year, making simple possession.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories, 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.